the races.
Live.
Oh no. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I have no clue what episode number we're on, but we're close to 400. That's all that matters. I am two-titled Travis Snell, and I'm joined by
The sports champion, Kirklin Patzer.
Nice. And I am the Adam Hart caster, Dylan Musk. I have to say, Travis, I think you maybe spelt your little nickname there incorrectly. I think you maybe have one too many T's in your title there.
I thought it was the two titty Travis. That's what I read it as.
And you better believe I noticed that before the cast, but I wasn't going to give you the early heads.
Bastard. Oh no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's gonna be a weird time because this is like the kind of kickoff to our E3 coverage, because it's not E3, but it's a big gaming event and everything. Most importantly, if you like what we do, head over to whatever podcatcher you use, but Apple Podcasts specifically. Give us a nice 5-star written review. Gotten a couple of those lately, so that's very nice. And then if you really like what we do, head over to Patreon, because you get ad-free, exclusive, early content. You got the entire Potter Retro up there. We're going to have other commentary tracks up there soon. And like I said, every single episode's ad-free, so lots of good stuff going on. So yeah, this is going to be the kickoff. I posted it on Twitter and Facebook. It should be might be the pin post, whatever it may be, but we're gonna be doing this tonight when you're listening to this, Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesday. Monday's a TBD. We're gonna see what the day has as far as the big stuff. But it's gonna be lots of fun. E3 is back. We're doing watch alongs for the stuff we're not working for on the weekend, so it's gonna be a good time. But we start with Summer's Games Fest. Kirklin, I'm going to ask you first, just to set the mood. Did you end up watching the full thing? Because I know you had not, and then you sent me a link that was 4 hours. I said, nope, that's not the one. And then I don't know whatever happened.
One, actually.
It
had the countdown.
It had the countdown, and then once it was over, there was like 2 hours of just like, I don't know, developers or whatever showing off extra things, whether it be handheld ones. I didn't really watch that. There you go.
Devs.
Yeah, because it's Summer Games Fest never ending. But so I put that on. I just like got home, threw it on. I was packing, so I was kind of like half watching, because I think a lot of the stuff at the very, very beginning was just there's a couple like live performances. I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys got that in your hour and a half version.
Yep.
I kind of skipped along those, and then it was like, sorry, what was that?
Dylan loved it. He loved Weezer.
Oh, Dylan loved it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I have 3 hours to watch, and cast is in an hour. I don't think that's possible, even with like the Dylan Musk 1.5 speed. So I pretty much would just skip like until the videos would play, gameplay wise, and then kind of have like the little spiel at the end. But in the very beginning, I watched like all of the indie stuff until I realized that I had like 3 hours left. But I mean, unbeknownst to me, I only had like an actual hour, I think, because again, like the tail end, like just the 2 hours was not actually a part of it. It was the day of the devs or whatever the hell you called it. But
yeah, I think the event, if you like from the moment Jeff starts talking to like the end of Elden Ring, I think it was like an hour 40, maybe an hour 45 was like the total runtime. And you know, I will say at the very start of it, he said 90 minutes of action, and it got to the 90-minute mark, and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? Like, this is still going on. And there was like 3 or 4 more things after that. So
yeah, as someone that time their lunch break to watch it, I was quite worried when we were creeping past that 90-minute thing, and Jeff's like, okay, here to introduce this great band, and I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen here? But then luckily I think they just ran like a little longer with some of their fake interviews, and they got it pretty good. So what you did see, Kirkland, we're gonna go game by game, stuff like that, but just your overall, what do you think of the show that you did watch?
Yeah, I actually quite liked it. I thought the pacing in general was decent for my viewing. Again, I wasn't like just glued to the screen the whole time, but from, I don't know, like a game would pop on that I'm not too interested in, so then I'd kind of go around. I still like could hear it at all, but it didn't seem like there was like awkward interactions between the game developers or like Jeff Keighley. I think there was just a couple hiccups, which is understandable in any type of like live broadcast thing like that. But I don't think it's going to be on my list for like top 10 cringy moments E3. You know, you see those YouTube videos or something like that. But overall, I quite enjoyed it. I like the stage that he was on. I thought it was visually appealing. I really like their colors that they're running.
Oh yeah,
it's like
good
that
scheme.
Miami Vice. Yeah, no, it's great. And
great
overall,
I
quite enjoyed it. I felt like I was actually talking to a buddy at work earlier today about just E3 and if he was interested in it. He didn't even know it was happening. We were kind of just talking how like I feel like the hype on E3 is kind of just diminished overall from like at least when I was originally like just following it. I feel like every year was such a big thing. Like what games are going to be out there, what performances. I don't know if I was itching for the performances, but nonetheless, I just feel like the hype overall kind of has gone down a bit. Whereas this one, I felt like I was watching like I don't know, like not E3 obviously because it's different, but at the same time, it's just like I'm getting some like nostalgia feelings of like just tuning in to get these big game releases. And there was like a few games that I had never heard of before that are definitely on my radar now. And just overall, I thought it was a good show. So
nice.
Dylan?
Yeah. I feel pretty much the same as Kirklin. I thought it was a really good show, and I didn't know what it was going to be like going in. I didn't know if it would be like 6 hours long of just like, sometimes when Jeff does these things, he'll like do an announcement or like a short trailer, and then like some dev will come on to talk for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't show anything for Skate 4. You just like said the word Skate 4 and then had a dev talk about it for 20 minutes. Like I don't know if we needed that. So I didn't know what this would be like, and Game Awards as well. Like it's really good sometimes, but then other times it's just chock full of ads, and like the watching experience can be pretty brutal. But I felt like this. I mean, I really have no complaints in terms of the actual show this time around. As Kirklin said, the pacing was like really, really good. Like no game went on more than maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Like even with dev interviews and stuff. Maybe a couple exceptions. Travis is making a face. What
he's smirking. I want to know what he's talking about.
I ate a fortune cookie before we went on air, and I had not looked. I had not looked at the fortune. Listen to this shit that they're putting in fortune cookies now.
Elden Ring will be announced today.
A confidential tip will clue you into a great financial deal. Are they just trying to make people lose money? Come on now. Continue. I just
put it all in red. Put it all in red.
Like, that's a fortune. Come on now.
Yeah, they seem to be mostly about money. I guess it's a fortune cookie, but anyway. Yeah. So I don't know what I was saying, but I thought it was a really good show. I mean, I went back after before we started here and
kind of the whole thing again.
I did, honestly. I skipped through I skipped through it all, but I wanted to make the list of all the games myself rather than just like going on IGN or something. And I mean, a couple of these are like I wrote like Weezer down here, but take out a couple of those, there's 41 things on here in like an hour 40. There's a lot of games that they showed, and you know, a good amount of them are things we've seen before, just like reminders. Like there was a Ratchet and Clank little segment for the game that comes out today, and you know, that's not really like a big new world premiere, but there's also a ton of new things I didn't know about, some things that I end up looking up, some things that I've added to my wish list, some things that were surprises, and then there is, I mean, he did the Elden Ring thing, and that's what like people were waiting for, and it wasn't just like another teaser. It was they did the full blowout and had everything there. So I think it was an amazing show. I mean, maybe I shouldn't amazing. It had a really good ending, which makes me feel that way, but it overall was a really good show. And it kind of got me excited just because, I mean, I don't know if he'll have another one of these in the summer. I'm guessing this is kind of the one main event, and the other stuff will be more akin to last year with more dev interviews, which I'm fine with the dev interview, but when you're kind of setting it up as like an E3 adjacent kind of conference, I think he nailed it this time around. And it's pretty impressive considering that he's just some random guy essentially who gets all of these different teams who are making games for all sorts of different systems and whatnot to come together for one cohesive show and make it feel cohesive instead of really disconnected. So really good. And there was only a couple awkward moments that were kind of goofy, but honestly, I thought like even him as like a stage presence, like he did great. So yeah, I was really impressed by the show.
Yeah, like some of the only awkward ones are when they pre-tape the interviews and they're trying to make it seem like they're not pre-taped. And like I hate he's trying to be like, you're not a villain, and then like Junko Esposito says something kind of like what he said, but not really. Like he starts talking about something else. It's just like, just have them record something. You don't need to do this fake interview stuff. But like that's because COVID, right? So that's like by next year that was one of his big announcements, right? That the Game Awards this year will be at least have a crowd. So I would like to see this in an E3, people, devs there, stuff like that. So
I mean, that was like a couple of them where he would say something that it was like as if there was supposed to be a big applause, but it's just like a little awkward because it's just him and the cameraman like hanging out.
Yeah, so like as far as I go, like it's funny enough, E3 was the reason we started this cast. We started a group chat to talk about this. We got hyped, and then like I think because E3 was June, I think like July we recorded, then released in August. So that's our origin. So I always get a little excited, but I am with Kirklin as far as I've talked about this for you, as far as like E3 the years before was going on a little downtrend, and then it took the year off COVID. So it definitely needs to build back up. This is an E3, but just kind of that like, season of gaming and everything like that. We'll talk about E3 and as I always say, things that I like lots about gaming are, yeah, video games, but I love like the business side. I love like shows like this and the aspect and like the, okay, how can you get people hype and promotion and all this sort of stuff? And I think he did a really, really good job. I think this is much better than some game awards. I think like Dylan said, sometimes I've seen shows where he knocks out of the park and then some where it's like this was too long, or we've talked about this before as far as like, yeah, you want to make announcements, but when the game awards just feel like non-special, when they're just kind of thrown to the side and they just do like a roll call of 10 awards and like, okay, let's interview this person. I hope that this event does grow bigger. So this is kind of like the big reveals event, and you can still do that game awards, but I'd like to see the people that win the awards actually talk a bit more, get a show. Because like, or I've always said they make the show longer. People will watch it. The hardcore people will watch it if it's like half an hour longer extra. So I think as a show, it was paced really well. As far as announcements, there's nothing here that blew my socks off, but not in the sense of there's like three versions of a show. There's a good show, there's a bad show, and then there's a good show that you don't really care much about. And not that I don't care about this, but even though I don't have any games that I'm going to be buying day one from this, I can tell just from the pacing, the way they spliced it, what game's going to go where, and the amount of games, there was something there for everyone, and it was a good show. Even if I didn't walk away with my like wow moment, I stood up, I clapped, like I can't believe they're doing that, like PlayStation did a few years ago in 2016 or Nintendo. But I think this had a game almost for everybody in a genre. You know, like surprised, I think the only genre they maybe didn't hit was like sports or like a racing one, and that's fine because those people buy those games without E3, you know? So I think it was great that you had big devs, you had little devs, you had literally new people announcing that they're like a company stream, which was cool. You had partnerships. You had Kojima telling us he was not dead, which was weird. We'll get into, but it was a strange thing. And he kept saying 9/11 over and over. And I was like, stop, Kojima. Like, I get it. But then all that matters is, this is a phrase in wrestling, they say all that matters is the finish. And even if this whole thing blew, the fact that they had Elder Ring, that all that matters, because that's everyone's talking about. They talk, not only was it like just a date and like a little scene, it was like a lot of like, I don't know those games, but there's gameplay in there, right? In those trailers, so, like lots of gameplay, lots of shown footage, a date, which I think they'll hit it. There's a chance they get delayed, but still at least a ballpark. Just you know what consoles coming, all this stuff. So the fact that this is a game that's been so talked about, and I even said to Dylan, I'm like, why is this one so talked about so much? But I even knew, like, since it was announced, every E3, every gaming event, Elden Ring always comes up. Like, we're gonna see it. We're gonna. In fact, when I saw it, and it's getting closer, was a huge win for him. And we'll talk about the specifics of the game after. But I think you always need that. I always say the smoking gun in a conference, one more thing, and it was good because he was building up to it. In his tweets during the show, he's like, you want to stay to the end? And he's like, we're almost there. So if it would have been like fucking Mario Golf 2.0, like he had to really deliver. And the only reason I say, because I think he's done that a few times where he has said he has something big, and it's like, it's news, but it's not Elden Ring news. You only want to tease the big thing when you get the big thing, and he had the big thing. So I think a really good show. I'm excited for next year when there's people and it's not in COVID. And these guys know I hate the whole, hey, tell us about your game, and they sit there for 15 minutes and talk. I think you can do that in the after or later on, because then the people that want to watch that are there. But if you got like a 15-minute segment on Tiny Tips, I don't really care about Tiny Tips, you know? So, or the Wonderland featuring Tiny Tips, you know? So
Tiny Tips. Where's the tips coming from?
Well, that's her name. That's what they called her. So
Tiny
I thought
Tina.
it was. Oh no, I think you're mistaken, sir. I think it's
Tiny Tina.
Tips. I think it's Tiny Tips. You guys are, I don't know, you guys are like Jessica.
Yeah, you're the big Borderlands fan.
Yeah,
you
I
got
love
Borderlands tattoo. So.
Slapjack and Dummy Twofolds are my favorite characters. They're making all those movies. But let's talk about this. They started with Tina Tips and the Wonderland game. This is that it leaked, right? Like it came out last week that this was happening. I'm not a Borderland fan. Well, yeah, and Clay points out last time he said a big announcement Fast and Furious was game. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Keeley should have known Fast and Furious doesn't track the same way for gamers as a movie audience, but you still got to get people in. But still, Never played a Borderlands game. Never will, but I have. It's not on my radar too, so this did nothing for me. But I know big audience, big fan base, and it sucked that it leaked a few days ago. But it seems the audience was happy with it. That game is for.
Yeah, I that's what I was gonna say as well. Is I feel like in general, a lot of the announcements in this show didn't get leaked, which is great for it. But it was funny that like the only big notable one, at least that I know of, that leaked was the first one. So I kind of wondered, like, okay, what are we in for here? This is kind of weird that this is a title and game that I heard about, a week ago already. In terms of Borderlands itself, I kind of had my heyday with it many years ago, and I've kind of moved on. But I will say that this does seem like they're taking a different route with it. Like, this is more of a spin-off, it seems like, than, a true sequel. And I think they're taking that for what it's worth. Like, it seems like this is a lot more fantasy-based. Like, there's actual, like, spell casting. Like, that's like a full-fledged system rather than maybe just a couple moves that look like a fire spell or something like that. There's, like, dragons flying around. So it seems to be dipping a lot more into the fantasy realm, which I think is an interesting place to go with it. I'm curious to see some more gameplay and if there's like a lot of differences mechanically or if it's just kind of the setting and the look, but it seemed like darker and more fantasy. So I think it's good for them to switch up the direction. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, who loved the first Borderlands and played a couple of the other ones, I'm kind of bored. I was just kind of bored with the formula and didn't feel like it was changing enough. And this seems like, at least setting wise, thematically, it's changing quite a bit. So I'm curious to see later on if the mechanics also change or if it's more of just a different aesthetic. Like, what was that, like, Far Cry, like, Blood Dragon thing? Like, something like that. It seems like this is kind of in that realm. So I wonder how much else is going to be changing with it.
Andy Samberg, Will Arnett, that get you excited all,
Wanda
Kirklin?
Sykes.
Yeah, I missed
forgot
her.
Wanda.
I'm in now. Wanda Sykes.
Yeah, I don't know. I played a little bit of Borderlands, but I never really was like the biggest fan of it. Just, I don't know, never bought it. Never really had friends to play with it, so that was just where that ended. But I always just love the aesthetic of it. I thought like the pastel-y, I don't know, art style that they have. Yeah, it's so cool to me. Very like comic book like, and it looks really cool, especially when you just see the different environments. So it's really cool to see that and then take it into, like Dylan said, more of a fantasy realm. So I mean, I'm not going to be like scratching at the door for it for sure, but it's definitely on my radar. And I don't know, I just looked really cool, them fighting that dragon. I don't think that's a villain that's been in Borderlands or anything like that. So it's cool to see, and definitely I was kind of like surprised to see that casting for sure. It's like, holy crap, okay, that's kind of some big names in there. But yeah, that's where I lay with that.
Next we had Metal Slug Tactics, or as I accidentally put in the Discord, Metal Slut Tactics while we were watching. And that's a whole different
also a
game
I want to see. Yeah.
That's gonna be a sequel. Dylan, you can lead us off because I have nothing to say about this, as I didn't know this existed. Because you're like, what? But I never heard of this game. They even propped up as like a '90s classic. I guess it just passed me by, as I was just born in 1999. So that tends to happen to you.
Yeah, I don't know what this 99. I don't know the origin of this joke, but I'm just gonna roll with it and say that yes, you are 4 years younger than me, and I'm so old that I know what Metal Slug is. Yeah, it's funny. After we had that conversation, I was thinking back, and I'm like, I don't even know where I've played this game. Like, I maybe had one on my Game Boy, or like I've played it in like the Scandia arcade, or more likely it was like some arcade bundle thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've also just played a ton of games that were directly inspired by Metal Slug games. Like, I feel like back on miniclip.com, there was
100%. No, 100%.
There was like 1,000 Metal Slug knockoff games.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's kind of where I know of the series of it. And even just like the music and like the announcer's voice when he was saying the characters, like it just felt super nostalgic for me. And obviously it's not a 2D shoot 'em up. It's instead a tactics game, which seems to be a theme. Like Gears of War Tactics came out like last year.
Oh yeah, big genre right now.
And I mean, I love Fire Emblem. I love Into the Breach and Wargroove and like isometric grid-based strategy games in general. So I'm intrigued for sure. I put it on my Steam wish list. We'll see a little bit more of it or what the price tag is when it comes out. but I think it has a great aesthetic. I love the music, and I just love the feel of it. I just don't know if it's going to be a good tactics game because there's no proven track record that Metal Slug has that kind of DNA to it. Nor do I don't even know who's really working on the game, and if it's like original Metal Slug team, and therefore I don't know if they've ever made strategy games. So who knows if it'll be good or it's just like kind of a fun way to bring the IP back in a different way. But I love the aesthetic. I love the art style so much. It really stands out to me.
Yeah, I'm 100% in that same camp. I think I've played like an identity. It's probably like Lead Slug Tactics, or not, I guess not Tactics or something, but like it's totally on Miniclip. I think it was like a platformer, right?
Yeah, we probably played the same one.
Oh, probably, yeah. So it definitely seemed familiar. And I just overall I really like the trailer. I just like the character designs of like the animation. Obviously it's different than what the in-game is, but just with their names coming up and like the announcer popping off. I honestly had like the same thoughts of you. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this at Scandia for some reason. Just like, you're walking by and they're just doing the little intro, just waiting for a coin. But yeah, I don't know. I probably won't grab onto it just because I don't have like the biggest nostalgia attachment to the game. But it's definitely familiar, and it is interesting to see like what they do on the strategy side of it, because like if that's the main theme, it better have some deep I don't know.
Yeah, it looked pretty simple from the little game.
Yeah, exactly.
Saw, like you're throwing a grenade, and that's the craziest thing that they showed. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if they introduce like I don't know, original mechanics or something like that. Or I mean, I imagine it gets harder, but yeah. It's cool to just see again that mini clip title on this. Obviously, that's probably like a knockoff of the original. Clay said it was an original arcade game as well as SNES. So there you go.
Yeah, I hope they just rip off Into the Breach completely. Like just steal that game.
You, Travis?
That sound that went by?
It's like Tokyo Drift
in my window.
Backyard.
I have multiple bikes going by right now. It's like the one time I had the window open, I didn't have the AC on. Just like, fuck off. I'm trying to catch.
You sweat yourself out. Yeah.
And then so this was what we referred to earlier. We got the Kojima update. So I'll start with this. So we get Kojima. Keely just asked, like, "Are you okay? Like, how you doing? Like, so." Kojima's fine. It's just like I expect every time Jeff's gonna do something, Kojima's gonna be there, because I don't know how this happened. I don't know if Jeff has a blackmail over Kojima or something, but like even Keely, I felt like 3 or 4 years ago when he was just starting to do these things, like Kojima was all on board to help him, everything like that. So I'm sure they're actually just really good friends. But either way, it's just funny that they're just attached to the hip, right? Like whenever his new game is ready to be announced, it will be whatever Keely's doing. I guarantee you, unless it's like a PlayStation exclusive. So I was getting hyped because I think that we used to rate E3 conferences like out of 5. I put this one at a 4. If this would have been the Kojima, this is my next game, this would have been like a 4.55. Because if you would have Kojima at the start and then Elden Ring there, man, that would have been a 1-2 punch. But I still think it was a good. I still think it was a good punch. But so he talked about how he talked about stuff I did not like, but I get what he was saying. He was talking about like COVID's really changed his perspective. It's much like 9/11, and then things have changed a lot after 9/11. When you make games after 9/11, it has to be really entertaining. And he started talking about how like he has this outside of, like I said, wanting to be fun. Like I got the first time he said 9/11. It's just like it felt like a parody at one point. Like it was going on for a little too long. But
I mean, there's definitely like a translation thing though, right? Because he is speaking in his native tongue. He's speaking Japanese. So
yeah, but he definitely said like 9/11 3 times. And
but like maybe he's saying, I don't know, like I feel like the direct translation there might be like misleading on what he's actually trying to say.
Mean, Kojima is all about like Death Stranding is all about like America
9/11.
So I mean, he's definitely into the American part of it. Things I don't know.
Yeah. So I think it was just weird that we had these 2 games revealed and then it was into Kojima, which I thought was another game reveal, but it was just like a conversation with Kojima, and he's talking about like how he's thinking about his creative like process and stuff might be more fun. I don't know how this actually impacts the next game he's working on. I hope it's not true, because I like Kojima when he's doing weird, really depressing stuff. I don't need to see his Thor Ragnarok of Death Stranding, like stick with what Death Stranding is. But fair enough, he didn't give us anything new as far as a game, but then we got this little preview for PS5 director's cut of Death Stranding. Maybe Kirklin will actually play this game. We had a new area, I'm pretty sure, right, Dylan? That looked like a new area to me. I don't remember seeing that in the actual game. this like almost morgue like area with the wall.
I have a couple theories of what it could be, but it's definitely not, to my memory, an exact. It might be. To me, it looked like almost like one of the inside of those depots when you're delivering stuff, or like more likely, I think it's what would be behind one of those like doors where the people are hiding out and camping.
So, and that was one of my favorite things. He's talking about being more positive, and like I don't think they were, but it looked like a bunch of slabs with like dead bodies on them. So like, yeah, I want to be more fun. And then here's this preview of a bunch of dead people under a slab. But yeah, and then you got like a little Metal Gear Solid action of like him getting in the box and Sam and everything like. And I don't know, and this is where I'll throw to Dylan because Dylan's more savvy with me in this stuff. It's a director's cut. We didn't get much known. Keeley said the full reveal will be in a few weeks, so I don't know if that is with him. Obviously not with E3 because Sony's not there. It doesn't sound like Kojima is. But I don't know if this will be an add-on or purchase, but whatever it is, there's probably a high chance I might buy it because the same way Dylan's always talking about like how he'll buy Morrowind a bunch again and again. Death Stranding, I said on the review, you can go back, me and Dylan did it, like, that honestly is maybe my favorite game. It's either 1A or 1B. Arkham City was strongly there until this game came out, so I'm like, kind of a horror for this. And if I don't buy this, it did get my vibes like, I want to get in there and not even, I don't know, replay it, but just do more side missions, because I played a bunch of that game, and I almost said, like, goodbye to it, because I had, like, this perfect experience, but there's still stuff I could do, so I love Death Stranding. But what do you take away from this, Dylan?
Yeah, I am super curious. Like, Death Stranding's a weird one because it's kind of had its signs of life post-release, but not in the traditional ways of like big DLC drops. Like, I remember when Half-Life Alyx came out, or around the time when it came out, there was like some, like the face hugger, like one of the enemies from Half-Life was like a hat you could get in Death Stranding. And then obviously the game came out on PC, I want to say last summer. Which was, a good few months after the game came out on PlayStation, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 months or something like that. So it's kind of had its life staggered, but I feel like at this point, like, it seems like too late to have like any sort of substantial DLC. And what Travis is alluding to, I mean, the game does seem to have a pretty strong finale to it. Like, there's the post game stuff that like puts you back, and it actually really justifies going back and doing some other side quest things. But I don't know if I want there to be like some additional add-on. Like, I feel like I'd want a game from him or a sequel. It's like the game came out in, what was it, November of 2019 on PlayStation 4 originally. So it's been a long time. Like, I just don't see there being some DLC, but obviously there was something new being alluded to here.
I thought it was DLC. When we started, I did think it was an expansion or something. Yeah. I was so convinced that was a new area. I'm like, oh, we're at least going to get like a 4 to 6 hour, here's something up with Sam.
And I guess this is where my Kojima inexperience comes from, because I've only played Death Stranding. I've never played any Metal Gear games. So I don't really know much about what he does in terms of DLC. And like, I don't know if he's done a director's cut before or something like this. And I don't know what would have been included in something like that. I just don't have that kind of history with him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I guess my quick theory, like, I don't know what's going on with the morgue. That was interesting, but my kind of theory of where that is it looked like there was kind of like icicles, something like that, kind of coming from the roof in one area. And so I'm thinking like maybe that's like inside the mountain that you climb, like kind of near the spoiler, I guess. But in the like tail end of the game, you do a lot of traveling through the mountain.
Oh, you're never gonna play it. You're never gonna play it.
It's just a fucking snowy mountain. There's nothing to it. Any game has a snow. You can see it from the beginning.
But the director from Drive is there.
You never go inside. You don't really go inside anything. That's why I thought it was a bit odd that was what they showed here. And even like the overhead camera looked like something out of like a Metal Gear game where it is like, here's the stealth sequence you're gonna have to get through. Here's the enemy.
The way he was crouched, I was like, oh, is this expansion gonna be like you're Sam, but you're kicking ass this time? But like it's very much like you said. I got action vibes right away as too.
And I can't recall anything in the story like hinting at the mountain having some sort of secret base in it or something like that. It seems like it would be just something that was added on in hindsight. So I don't know what to think about this. I don't like, a lot of trailers show PS5 and then they're like also PS4 things. So I'm wondering if you have access to whatever this is, if it's something you can upgrade to. There's a lot of questions here and they didn't really answer anything. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit weird on this one. I mean, I love seeing Death Stranding. It was my second favorite game that year and one of my I really, really love the game. So yeah, I'm curious to see more of it.
Oh yeah, and that's how like I know I still love that game, because the second that came up, man, I just had like a flutter in my stomach. It's like, oh my goodness, like it just took me right back to that. So
Yeah,
at least I know this.
More packages.
Oh yeah, and at least I know this director's cut. There might be a chance we get more songs, which is great because the songs and the albums he picks are great, and I already like the cover art for it. It's like the Death Stranding beach, but it's like in gold and stuff. So it's like, I don't know, and like maybe it is just a simple like, hey, this is the PS5 version. You know, it could just be that, but it's a game that I might be close to purchasing. But Kirkland, you gonna finish this masterpiece of the game? This game is like, you know,
I don't even own it. Say I'm finished.
You can borrow it. Come on, just finish it.
Well, now you see this trailer. Now you see this trailer, you're gonna be all over it. But just quick theories on like what the director's cut would entail, other than just like remastered or like reperfected for PS5. I feel like there would be like just some additional, whether like you mentioned songs or just little like ideas, like whether it's I don't know, just more backstory on the certain character, like the design process of it. Maybe there's just more like stuff like that. It's kind of cheesy to just like have a director's cut and then like that's kind of all you're throwing in there. But at the same time, you know, it's a good excuse to just bring this game back in the spotlight. And yes, Travis knows that I'm very difficult to actually finish games. But honestly, when this comes out, even if I don't have a PS5, I'm probably dropping $80 on this because I just want to support Kojima in every sense of the way. I love what he does. He's just such like an originator.
But you didn't buy Death Stranding.
Yeah, I know.
No, such I was waiting for a director's cut. Fuck off.
Oh yeah.
It's more expensive. Come on now.
Well, and even the name director's cut just fits Kojima. You know, like I've said before, he is the Nolan of video game. He is just that name. It's like, okay, well, let's see what you got. You know,
I'd say he's like Tarantino, other than Nolan. Just for like how out there it is.
I'm saying more Nolan.
I think because like like that's a different cast. But I feel like Tarantino, you kind of know what you're getting every time you get a Tarantino movie. Where Nolan, you know, Batman, Inception, Prestige, Dunkirk. He's done quite a few different genres. Where Tarantino still like he does different like you know.
That's another cast.
Ages, but that is another cast. But yeah, I'm excited for more details. I hope those come soon, and I'm happy he's doing well. And I hope he doesn't make too many fun games. So
I guess go for it.
I was just gonna say I did like there was some moments that were kind of weird just in that dialogue between Jeff Keighley and Hideo, but I did like him just kind of like dissecting his thought process on like when he thinks of these games, he thinks of what life is going to be like in 10 to 20 years, because a lot of his games are kind of like an eerie near future thing. Like it's not so out there where it's like I don't even know what to give an example of, like Star Wars or something where like okay that might possibly be happen, but like when you have something like Metal Gear.
No, that's a long time ago.
Oh right, yeah.
Metal Gear, you kind of get some really big fucking monsters at time though. That's pretty fantastical.
It is very fantastical, but it's still like just like this war-torn world that's I don't know what the date is.
Dude, he is a clairvoyant in some ways. Like Death Stranding, he just like totally predicted that COVID was going to happen.
100%.
Like, and he does that with Metal Gear. Not that I've played them, but I've heard that some of the social media like aspects, like he kind of comments on what social media was going to be like years before it happened. So, he's not a crystal ball for sure.
I did like that, just like him talking about that stuff, but there was some weird things in there. But I like right at the beginning, like the one word he knows in English, just like Jeff. Hey Jeff, my homie. Yeah, they do seem like the best buds. It's funny.
Well, I mean, Jeff Keighley is in Death Stranding. He's a character in the game.
Right.
So
I saw the trailer.
Yeah, I guess my last point is like if this was a DLC, I would have to watch the trailer or the ending part again, but it did specifically say just PS5. I feel like if it was a DLC, it would have said like Steam and PS5 or something. Right. So I feel like it's just a remaster or like whenever the 60 frames, whatever, and then like maybe a couple extra goodies. Like maybe you can. Like there's references in the game to like other PlayStation games, like maybe a couple more of those. Maybe there's a Ratchet and Clank, I don't know, fucking trophy that you can find on the ground that you can pick up, something like that.
That's all they had in the director's cut. I'd buy it.
After that, Taylor is busy, so unfortunately he's not here for this. But Jurassic World Evolution 2, you had another very, in my opinion, he's always like that, but Jeff Goldblum with a very awkward. It's not that he was awkward. It was the fact they were trying to do that back and forth thing with him and Jeff. Just didn't work. They should have just thrown in a clip of Goldblum. But that's fine. It was quick almost painless. Evolution 2, it's a park builder. I like this stuff. People know if they've listened to the cast before, I love like WWE General Manager mode, and I love like the football GM mode where you're like deciding how much hot dogs cost and the same. So I like this. I would actually be very interested to play this game if it's like a Games Pass day one or a couple months. I'm not like Taylor who's going to be dropping an arm and a leg for this. I think it looked fun. It looks like if you like that, not even just from Taylor, I saw a lot of people surprised this game was announced. So I don't know if it's just people were really wanting it or it didn't sell that well. I don't know, but people were surprised. Like, really, they're doing this in a positive way. So if it's affordable or Games Pass, then I might try it out. If not, I'll spend my $80 elsewhere. But you guys got any thoughts on Jurassic World Evolution 2?
Yeah, I mean, I was semi-interested in the first one just from like watching Taylor play, because I always liked playing like Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day. Those were like, oh man, I loved doing those and just spending hours, like what Travis said, just like adjusting the prices on things, or like
$10 to go in the bathroom. Oh, yeah.
Just like totally like blocking people into like a loop so they just like die, like, you know, just doing like just playing God basically. I can only imagine you can only imagine so much worse on Jurassic World, where you could like release dinosaurs. But so I was kind of following it, but the price was just never dropping. Like even on sale, I swear it was only like 20% off. So it was like,
I thought they were fucking Nintendo over here.
Yeah, sorry Taylor, I can't support it there. So I was actually very surprised at this one. I feel like they were still releasing like DLCs for the first game, not too long ago. But yeah, so same sort of camp as Travis. I don't have Games Pass right now, but if I did and it was on there, I'd probably give it a go just to like bring back some of that park builder vibes. And it is cool, you know, Jurassic World, but I don't know.
I like that out of nowhere, like we're all interested in this game. Maybe not interested enough to drop the
it's our number one
$80 on it, but yeah, I mean, I love park builders, Roller Coaster Tycoon. The CG trailer for this game was fucking amazing. Like they put a lot of money into that trailer. This game looks fantastic.
You got the music. They got John Williams' score. True. That's a lot of money.
And Goldblum. Like they spent a lot of money on this Game Awards, or this Summer Game Fest slot. I don't think I have more to add than you guys. I'll just say that you commented on like the Jeff Goldblum being awkward thing. I feel like Keighley, I wonder if this is a concerted effort, but I feel like just the way he frames it, such that the screen's like behind him, so he kind of turns to talk to the people. If there's any weird awkwardness, you don't see Keighley's face. So 100%. If he has some weird awkward reaction, you never really like. Sometimes he'll have someone on stage with him, rarely because it's COVID time still, and he'll like talk to someone, and the awkward moments do show. But in moments like that, like he's really strategic with the way he turns the camera, so you only see Jeff Goldblum being awkward, which is like his shtick, and you don't see Jeff Keighley being awkward. So really strategic there, but. Yeah, I hopefully this comes to Game Pass. Apparently, Taylor said the first one was there, maybe not at launch, but down the line. I kind of hope this one comes there at launch. I'd love to try this out.
Yeah, I hope so. I doubt it, just because I bet they'll try to get money out of us. But that's coming 2021, so obviously sucks for them a little bit, because in non-COVID worlds, Jurassic World 3 would have been coming out, so obviously like a tie-in and stuff, but still close enough to the movie. Well, not really. The movie comes out next year, June 10th, but still they'll be tying in. But Sable, Dylan, I know you had a lot to say about this. This is our first musical act, which I was having some fun Discord, but I actually did like the song.
That was my favorite live performance of the whole thing. I was like, damn, I was capturing my heart.
Yeah, Dylan, you were pretty hyped to get a trailer for this one and a date.
Yeah, I've had this game on my radar for probably a year and a half at this point. I don't even know why. I just think the aesthetic is great. It kind of has that cell shaded aesthetic too, and it seems like you're just kind of a nomad going through the desert. It's kind of intentionally low frame rate, like your walking animation is like, you know, you might be in like one particular pose for like 10 frames, the next one for 10 frames, but it looks really good on screen. Like it looks like Kubo or something like that in a way. So I've just really loved the aesthetic of this game for a while, and I've just always wondered, like, man, when is this game coming out? Like I've seen trailers for it here or there, heard about it, but like, where is this release date? And September 23rd is like pretty close. So I'm pretty excited for it. And then Jeff even was talking about later, there's like another Steam game demo thing, I forget the name of it. And then also Xbox is doing one too, where they're having a bunch of demos next week, and Sable is going to be on there. So I'm going to check it out, and I hope other people check it out as well. I mean, I have no idea what the gameplay is like, honestly. I just love the aesthetic. So I'll check it out there, and maybe I'll report back in the future if I like the gameplay. But I just think it's such a unique looking game, and it was interesting to pair it with a musical performance. I thought that was a unique way to do it, where it didn't feel like, oh, here comes a musical performance, I gotta wait for 10 minutes and then come back to the show. It's like, no, I'm gonna check out this game that kind of speaks for itself while getting this. So I thought the pacing there was good as well.
I was mixing that with
very beautiful.
I was mixing it with another game in my mind, actually. So I'm not too interested in it. Sounds like the soundtrack's gonna be beautiful, and again, like the visuals are just really captivating. But I'm excited to see gameplay, I guess.
After that, that's coming out September 23rd, like you said there. Lost Ark, an Amazon game / Smilegate RPG coming this fall. Obviously, Amazon Games produced this, so they got a few little shout outs here and there. But yeah, this looked fun. It didn't really do anything for me. This is one of those games that I read it and I look, oh yeah, I remember seeing that, but didn't remember that. Like I remembered Sable. Yeah, I had the music, but I remember the art style Sable a lot more. Being like, oh, this looks beautiful. Great art design, textures, everything like that. This was like, okay, I don't know much about it, and it didn't really stick with me.
You look like you have something to say. Go ahead, Kirklin.
I was just gonna say I thought it looked really good. I really liked the trailer, but I am just not an MMO player, so I will just never play this. But overall, I thought it looked really cool, and I thought the trailer was really cool. But
is it an MMO RPG? Is that what's going on there? Because that was my question. Was there's like shots where it's looked like an RTS. There were shots where it looked like Diablo, and there were shots where it was like third-person action game. So I was like, what the fuck is going on?
All the games, Dylan.
It looks beautiful, but I don't know what. I mean, if it was an MMO, I think that would make sense because I feel like you can kind of scroll in and out and kind of look at it from different perspectives. But it's hard to tell. Like MMOs are really given away by the HUD, and obviously they don't show HUD in trailers like this, so it's kind of hard to tell. And then my one critique of this one is I hate when they play rap music in like fantasy game, like RPG. It really, I don't know. It just seems like totally opposites to me. Maybe it's just because I'm not big into the genre of rap in the first place, but it really
just wait until
as being odd. Like I liked the aesthetic until that came on, and then it was like, okay, let's get past this now.
Just wait until Amazon drops its first trailer for their Lord of the Rings TV show, and you're gonna have, I am a god, and everyone pulling a sword out.
The Shire theme remix with like just Frodo rapping,
just Kanye in the back. I threw in a screenshot of the game in the Discord. So it looks like Diablo for sure, but it also has. I mean, I guess Diablo has that same sort of HUD, so it's definitely like Diablo, just MMO.
Okay, I think see it. Something like that.
Or if you don't care, either way.
It is on MMOs.com, so I think it is. Yeah, definitely. There you go.
Next we got Call of Duty Warzone stuff. For once, I'm actually the expert to talk about this. June 17th, we got a content update. Not too much. It was a lot of generic, like jam-packed, lots of new guns, new operatives, new maps. Me and Taylor did agree, though, that we both fucking want this new operative, though, because he's looking badass, the guy with the mask and everything like that. But I don't waste my money on those. Taylor can do that for me. It looked fun. They emphasized lots of 80s stuff. There's a new maps, but one thing they emphasized was like a spaceship crash on the map and zombies. At one point, they showed like a kaiju, like Godzilla, like zombie. I'm not sure what that's going to be.
Was that, man?
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a fun mode or not. So we usually try out all these modes, and then if we like them, we come back. Like Resurgence, we end up liking, so we stuck with it. But then other modes, not so. The zombies, because they said this time they'll be like running loose. Before they were always in one area. That's what I really want. I want them to do a map where anywhere you go, zombies could be there. Not that like they're spread everywhere, but just like before it was like, okay, they're in Shipwreck. Just don't go to Shipwreck and you're fine. I want to be, you don't know, and they might pop up.
Isn't that the mode like in Cold War though? They have like a zombies. I forget what it's like Outbreak, and it's the same sort of thing where zombies are everywhere. Like it's an open world zombie survival. I think that's only for Cold War.
Yeah, I don't pay for Call of Duty, so I wouldn't know about that one.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought they were talking about, or was it Warzone?
No, they showed these big kaijus in the Warzone thing, and they showed zombies running around.
Okay, see, I thought that was the Outbreak thing. Okay.
Yeah, and they ended with like a train on fire, running or moving, and then zombies there. So we'll see. Sometimes these updates, they kind of like. I learned after their nuke event to really go in with small expectations because I thought they really disappointed with that one. So, cool. There'll be more content. I'll check it out and maybe we'll stream. So that's June 17th. So you guys got anything to say on that?
I think think I'm like maybe down to check this out only because I just recently got my Series X and now I kind of want to try this on the next gen. Baby. Yeah, see the load time, see the graphics and whatnot. So I mean, I'd be down to check that out, but I'm a little out of like I kind of play it once every 2 months at this point. Like I'm really out of it, and like that fills me in. Like I don't feel like, oh, I got to come back tomorrow night. Like so maybe I'll come back for this update if you guys are playing, but I wouldn't be jumping in solo. I wouldn't be dropping solo.
I feel like I'm a little less frequent than Dylan.
Yeah, you're like even yeah.
Right before Loki, we squeaked out a win on Tuesday. It was great. We had 5 minutes ago and we did it, and Kirklin was asleep. So, ladies and gentlemen, were you? I have nothing to add for this. Hide and seek mode coming to Among Us, including achievements and Jeff Keighley's like faces back to it. Never played Among Us. Maybe I'll get to it at some point. But you guys got anything?
Never gonna play it.
Among Us is fun. It's really fun. It's just like active Avalon / Mafia. I like it. I don't really. I've like barely played it, so like I'm still getting used to like the first map and like the base game stuff. So I don't know, and I haven't spent any money on it, but it is a fun game. I'm happy for that team of like 3 or 4 small indie game creators who are now just like multi-millionaires. So
hell yeah.
Shows to Among Us. It'll be in these shows for like years. So I'm just kind of getting used to it.
Yeah.
Salt and Sacrifice, another game I do not remember, but I'm liking these screenshots. 2022 coming to
I think it's a PlayStation only. Yeah.
Yeah, PS4 and PS5.
Because that was where they brought in the PlayStation indie guy. I forget his title, but he's like the head of indie games for PlayStation.
Shuhei Yoshida.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I absolutely love this trailer. This got me so intrigued. I just loved the design of it. I love like the class system of it and like the character customization and stuff like this. And I just thought overall it was just a really good trailer. It's like way up on my just radar list right now. So I'm very intrigued in this game, and I had never heard of it before, and I just thought it was a really, really good trailer. So I'm very interested in this one.
I look forward to a Kirklin Salt and Sacrifice stream. I've heard really good things about Salt and Sanctuary, the first game. I've not played it myself, but yeah, it looks kind of 2D action, Souls-like sort of game. But yeah, the RPG mechanics seem really fun in there too. That gives a little more depth than just like a 2D hack and slasher. But yeah, I thought it was a good trailer. Some of the animations looked a bit weird in the game to me. I wonder if it'll look a bit cleaner on release or something, but still, I like that there was shout out for some indies here. And then Shuhei also showed this game called Chicory, which is like this little painting. I don't even know what genre it would be, but it's a cool looking game that I've seen a couple times. So shout outs to the PlayStation indies getting a little bit of a shout out there.
Yeah, for sure. 2022 on that one. No specific date, just
classic. Yeah, anything that was just said 2022 without a month or a day, I don't know. I didn't even download it. I'm like, that is such an intangible date. I don't know.
Yeah.
A game called Solar Ash later this year. I don't remember this one either.
This is I believe it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It is
on 4.
It is on 4, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one produced by Annapurna Pictures. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 4 and 5, 2021. Annapurna Pictures. Yeah. Yeah,
it has a really interesting aesthetic, like the vibes. The music is really good. To me, it's like a lot about movement, exploration, not so much about combat. And seems like the combat is more about like these movement puzzles or something. But it just seems like a very fun game to just move around in the world. Like if Spider-Man was only swinging around, but like that was turned into a full game, like that's kind of what this looks like. And it looked kind of Shadow of the Colossus, like you're using these movement techniques to like take down these giants or something like that. So it seems interesting. I thought this was a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so I think that's why I kind of crossed it off my list of like, I just don't know when I'll have an opportunity to play it. But if it's PlayStation 4, maybe I'll check it out closer to release. And yeah, I do remember that being announced for this year, right? So that is coming at some point.
Yeah, I definitely got Shadow of the Colossus vibes for sure. I thought like the vibrancy of it was really cool. I thought it looked really cool, and I like the soundtrack for it. But yeah, I feel like it'll just kind of go by the wayside for me.
Next we got 2 Point Campus, which I don't know. I don't know who this game is for, but
this is exactly for us. We just talked about 5 minutes
ago.
Roller
Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, we like these park builders sims where you're janking up the fee on things. That's who this game is
I
for.
had a feeling. I just think it was not like I'm looking at the image, but I remember the trailer watching. Be like, this is not a good trailer. I feel like the people that cut it, but yeah, we'll see. But I got Jurassic World Evolution, but
now you're busy with that one.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It just I don't like even re-looking at it. I don't know. Just something about looked. I don't want to say cheap. I don't want to say that, but it just reminds me of like Wii tie-in movie games, like and I know it's probably a smaller studio and stuff like that. But yeah, it just didn't strike me for something we just talked about liking. But you guys got any hype for 2 Point Campus?
I have a little bit of hype in this way. So there's this YouTube channel I discovered lately called Let's Game It Out. And everyone should go check this channel out. I mean, it's not like a hidden gem by any means. It's got tons of millions of followers and viewers. But he just plays games like this, like these little sim games, roller coaster park creating games. And he just does like the craziest shit, like making death trap parks. And like he's played a bunch of these because the same team made 2 Point Hospital, I think it's called. And he did like, I just watched this literally like 2 days ago, so it's funny that this got announced. But he like just made this like this hospital like specialized in like killing people, and it's just like the
I built
video.
a theme park that ends reality in Planet Coaster.
Yes, you can watch this. The video that I hear, it's called "I built a theme park of perpetual torment in Planet Coaster." Everyone watched that video. I was just laughing for like 15 minutes straight. It's so funny. So what I'm excited for is to see what the fuck he does with this game. I can't wait for that video in like a year whenever the game comes out and he has a chance to play it. He just like pushes these games to the absolute limits. Like the limit's like 500 units and he gets it up to like 5,000 and he's just like making the game chug. It's amazing. So
I became a millionaire by ruining a homeless person's life.
Yeah, you watch some of this guy's videos, especially when I just shouted out. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know what game he's playing in this one, but yeah, it's just like some like glitch or something where he just goes and like beats up this homeless guy and gets money, and he just keeps doing it over and over. And yeah, good for this guy. 3.2 million subs.
And the video I was mentioning has like 18 million views. Like this guy's fucking huge.
And that's why it's like crazy. Like I know like we're super small scale. It's like we watch YouTube, we podcast stuff, and it's like that guy never heard of. Like even this is off topic, but like someone was trending on Twitter yesterday where there's some like YouTube star named Karina or something like that, and she opened up like OnlyFans, and she got like 1 million a day. But like I go check her YouTube, she has like 4 million subs, like everywhere, like Twitch, everywhere, like huge popular. Never once heard of her in my entire life. Never heard of her, but she's making $1 million for just showing her butt. Good for her.
Did you check out the OnlyFans?
No, I didn't. I'm not paying $25 a month for that. Come on. Now.
I was on there. I'm like, wait a minute, she has YouTube? Okay.
There's free porn. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Oh, she's a streamer?
The point is that this 2 Point Campus, there is an audience for this game. People, this genre is fucking huge. People love these games, and I think it's because they are really popular on streaming services and YouTube and stuff like that. People making videos like this, people making tips and tricks videos. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon, there's still like thousands of people that play that one from like the 99.
That's crazy to me, honestly.
The cereal box one, like people still play that shit.
That's so interesting because
definitely an audience.
I feel like that type of game just kind of died out for me personally. He's on the OnlyFans now.
Unethical zoo where nobody is safe.
Dude, watch these guys.
I can't wait.
I'll send you the one that I'll send you a link to the one that I've watched and is just amazing.
You said the 8? Yeah, no, this one. Yeah, the Torment one. I found it. And
the one with like the creepy little like weird cart that looks like a little monster. Yeah,
I built a 600-meter human cannon that ends all existence. Oh yeah, I'm excited to check these out.
Yeah, check it out. It's good stuff. If you want a good hearty belly laugh, that'll get you going.
That's good.
After that was the introduction. Oh fuck.
The introduction.
Before we continue, I'm gonna take our first ad break so I can recover. So I'm gonna take an ad break and then we'll be right back to talk about the introduction of a new publisher. So we'll be right back. We are back. We are talking about Prime Matter. The publisher announced that their existence in this show. They'll also be working on a Painkiller game. And also Payday 3, which I feel like is bigger than Painkiller, but just a really cool montage of like, I've not really played many of these games, but I like showing variations. They have this night game. They had one guy looking like John Constantine from DC. They had lots of cool stuff going on. So obviously there are new players in the game. See how it goes, but I liked the little sizzle reel we got.
I thought this was a very surprising thing for me that like a publisher was getting announced and like the publisher had like this big sizzle reel. It felt kind of weird, but at the same time kind of interesting. I feel like it seemed to me like the niche that this publisher is going for is definitely PC games. I don't know if I should say hardcore PC games, but it seems like maybe more strategy or that kind of genre of things. But I thought it was interesting. Like a lot of the games in there looked really cool, but I don't know, either they're games that are out already that this publisher owns or they're like sequels to those games. It was a little unclear, but I guess the point was really to show off Prime Matter. And I think they did so in a good way. They made a big thing that like Painkiller, like even a dev came on to say like Painkiller back. I've never heard of Painkiller before. I looked it up. It's the people who made it is actually the team that made Outriders, which came out a couple months ago to big fanfare. So I wonder if they're working on it because I thought they would be. I mean, I guess Outriders isn't a live service game, so they're probably working on their next game right now. But I thought it was a surprise. Like I wouldn't have predicted a publisher gets announced, but I thought they did it in a really good way, and now I'll probably remember that name, or maybe I'll forget. But next time I see it, I'll be like, oh, yes, they have this game, something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really interesting. Payday 2, that's honestly probably one of my most played games on Steam. I had like a group of friends that we would just spam. It's so funny because like the whole point of that game is pretty much Left 4 Dead, but just like you're bank robbers. So like a lot of like heavy gunfire. But we never did that. We only did the stealth missions, and the stealth mechanics in that game are so janky and so bad in comparison to like what's out there. But like we only did the stealth maps and we just played that for hours. So that's got a little special place in my heart. So when I saw like Payday 3 and stuff like that, I got pretty intrigued, and it's pretty crazy. Like Payday 2 still has like tons of support. Like I don't know how many DLCs that game has, but like it's still coming out with DLC. It's pretty crazy to see just like the longevity of it. I don't know what like the total amount of players are, but it's just crazy. Like the developers just didn't like give up on it. They're still pumping stuff out on it for.
So if you want to just purely go balls to the walls heist like shootout, how does it rank in that spectrum? Because I would love something like that. I love the movie Heat, and I was a huge Kane Lynch fan back in the day. Clearly, there's not gonna be a third one anytime soon. So I definitely gotta fill that heist void in the future.
I mean, it's tough to say because I would only play on like the hardest difficulty, and I felt like that was like impossible if you were just like going balls to the walls, because there's just like fucking huge juggernaut dudes that come. So I'm sure if you have like a group of 4 guys, because I think that was the team similar to like Left 4 Dead. But like it was really fun. I just felt like the gun mechanics weren't as crisp or clean as like Call of Duty or something. So if you're coming from that, it might feel a little step downish. But again, for what I was doing, it was just so much fun to just like, grab the money bags, and then you just have like a little chain gang. Like everyone just has their duty. So in that aspect, it's really fun. I can't really say to the whole, balls to the walls if you're like recreating Heat, the movie Heat.
All right.
It's probably pretty similar though.
Where's the van?
Yeah.
All right. The Anacrusis. It was the boat game, right? Or they were on a boat?
I think it was more of a space station.
The
Cruises thing makes it feel like that. Kind of an awkward title.
And it looks like a boat. Some of these images, actually. Oh, I remember this poster that they showed at the end, but I did not remember any of this gameplay because I don't remember these aliens being it. But I agree with you. Not a great title.
I'm interested in this one for one simple reason, and that this is like a 4-player co-op game that is coming to Game Pass day one. So I feel like you and Taylor and Kirklin, if he hops on there as well, got to get in here and try it out. It didn't look like he's voted out. It didn't like the animations weren't great in the game. I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't know if this is a game that I would play more than that one stream that we do when it comes out on Game Pass. I mean, who knows? Maybe a few more months, maybe it'll look a bit cleaner when it's in there. But I mean, usually a trailer like this is where you glorify the game even beyond what it actually is capable of, and it looked a little subpar, a little like not even AA, but just kind of an indie studio trying to do something a little bit bolder. So, I mean, maybe the gameplay is really fun. It seems like a mix of genres of games that I really enjoy. Four-player go-op is great. Coming to Game Pass is excellent for them. I'm sure they'll get a lot of people playing at least for a little bit. So I'm excited for this one, and just because, I mean, I'm still on my Series X hype train. So obviously anything that comes with Game Pass day one is now like, oh, I own this game already. And that's kind of an exciting thought, even if it's a bit of a fallacy. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I had like the vibes that it was just like a little early access. That's just what it felt like, because it just didn't seem too polished. Again, I don't want to throw any shade anywhere, but just saying how it is. Fanboy Clay said it looked like a weird Left 4 Dead type game. I felt like it was like that, just because it's third person, and so it's
first person.
Oh, was it first person? Okay.
I mean, maybe you can zoom out and
maybe I'm misremembering what the game was. But overall, I don't know. I didn't really have much. I feel like that was kind of a low interest point of the show for me.
Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt coming later this year. Dylan, what do you think about this game?
So this is an interesting one, because I remember Vampire Masquerade 2 getting announced like maybe it was 2 years ago at E3. I can't remember when I saw it, but I thought it looked great. Like, it looked really interesting, intriguing, like kind of very stylized game, yet it's, you play as vampires. And so I was looking into this one a bit more, and this is like they almost like deviated like that. I think that game that we saw is almost like canceled, and this is like the new thing that came from the ashes, so to speak. This is a battle royale. This game is a battle royale, believe it or not.
Is it?
Vampire battle royale. So I don't know what the fuck that means, but if it's like you're in a few city blocks and there's you and a bunch of vampires and there's like a bunch of people that everyone can kind of steal as much blood as you want. I don't know. Maybe there's a good concept there. But I got to see gameplay first, because I'm going to say I'm skeptical right now, and they got to prove me wrong. But the concept itself has me intrigued. So I really want to see more of this game, because once again, it still has that same aesthetic and style that I think is quite pronounced. So color me intrigued.
It's funny you say that, because like I had no idea. I thought it was looking really creative and stuff like that, but it all makes sense too. And that then, like, choose who you want to be, choose the look you want to be. It all makes sense. It's adding up, and also it adds up. Yeah, there's two things I never want to hear in my life. One, when I was single, I was like, hey, you want to go for a date after I come back from church? That's one. Two, sign up for closed or sign up for a beta. I always just check out right then when I see it at these conferences, whether it's good or not. I just go, come to me when the game's like full or ready to go, because I just like what was that? Remember, like, We Happy Few? We saw it like the very first E3 we ever did, and it didn't come out for like 3.5
years or something.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, whenever I see that sort of stuff, I go, all right, like it's not really on my radar anymore. So it looked interesting, really cool world building, but the fact that's a battle royale, I don't think I'll be looking into unless I hear really fun things about it.
If that is the case, it might be free when it comes out. A lot of those games are. So, maybe GV hops on for a Sunday stream and tries it out.
I find it really interesting, actually, just like the world that they're in. It was kind of like, as I'm watching the trailer, I'm like, hey, what is this? Like, I want to know what this is. It definitely looks like it's just PvP pretty much, but the battle royale in there, I feel like I'm more intrigued than like sketched out by it. They showed a lot of like threes, so I'm curious if they're going like that Apex route where it's just like teams of three, like that's what the battle royale is. Because like every time they would show a group, it looked like there was three of them. I thought the customization looked really cool. Again, that might just be microtransactions, which was probably a red flag. But at the end of the day, if it's free, I'll definitely try it at least once. I think it just is a really cool idea. And I am curious if it's just like, Warzone, you just get kills and then that's how you win the battle royale, or if, like what Dylan was saying, like you actually have to like harvest blood or whatever it might be.
Or maybe that just like powers you up, so it makes it easier. Yeah. But it's like you want to take out guys, but you also want to power up something there.
But I just really like the different like customization on the characters. It looked like you can really, again, if that's tied to microtransactions, I might red flag, but as of right now, I think it's just really cool, the amount of customization I'm seeing, and it's just what alpha footage they're showing.
who knows? That game has been announced for a while, or like in its previous form. So I feel like there's definitely like some baggage on it, but who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be really cool when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Kirklin, I'll start with you if you remember, because unfortunately, unless it's Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, and anytime I see this kind of anime-like artwork or art style, I check out. And I don't think I watched a single lick of the trailer from Tales of Arise because I just knew, that's just not going to be for me. So, do you remember this? And if so, are you interested?
I do remember this, and I remember being intrigued. And it was funny because as soon as it goes like anime, like animation, I see like Shay in the kitchen, like eyeballing the TV. You know, she's getting some intrigues. So there was a few. What do you mean, poor Shay? That's her interest.
I said sorry, Shay.
Oh, sorry, Shay.
Yeah, poor Shay. She has to live with you.
Whoa!
Yeah,
finished Death Stranding already. That's what she said.
That's what she's barking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought out of everything in this one, because I don't know. I've seen many games with like that anime art style, and not too many like grab me. But yeah, there you go, Fanboy Clay.
Fanboy Clay's also an anime dweeb, though. So you know what? You dudes got to stick together.
Yeah, be loud. Out of everything in this trailer, I think the thing that I liked the most was just the combat. It looked really just, I don't know, badass and awesome, and I really like just the character design. That's like one of my favorite things in anime, is the different types of characters and how unique each individual is. But definitely I don't think it had enough to sell me on it. I don't know. That's where I'm at right now, and it's not even at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be following it for deals or something. I just feel like you know, I'd rather just play some backlog games. Might as well just get some Death Stranding in or something. Like, just I have so many games to backlog, so I'm very selective with games I buy these days, and this one is just unfortunately not enough. There's another anime one that we will bring up that I'm a lot more intrigued on.
Ooh.
So I think you either got to start the backlog, like going through it real soon, or you just got to hit the reboot and start at zero and just forget those games. You know, like there's certain games I've just decided, like, you know what, you're just never gonna get to them, and it's okay. It's okay. You'll never get to.
That's like a big adult moment, I feel, because it's like, okay, yeah, you know, like I'll pick up all these games on sale, or like the PSN, like what is it, 2 games every month? It's like, oh man, I can't wait to play this, and at some point you're like, I don't think I'm ever gonna play.
And it's crazy at the age of 16 that I can make this adult moment. So you got to be able to do that. So,
1999.
Dylan, I got like a couple of years off. My passport's a little wrong. Do you got any thoughts on Tales of Arise?
I don't think I have anything to say on the gameplay, but the part that seemed a bit strange to me was Jeff said, "You may remember that we showed this game off 2 years ago, and here's this trailer." And then at the end, Tales of Arise, no release date, and I thought that was a bit puzzling. Like, I think you at least say 2022.
It's the same trailer from 2 years ago.
I know, right? Could have been. I wonder. My question is, like, maybe it's in the Horizon. We talked about this, where it's like, well, I don't know if we talked about this on cast. I can't even remember. Did we talk about Horizon, or was I?
No, we haven't yet. No.
Okay, well, the weird thing was, like, well, where's the release date? Well, it's because they think it might come out this year, but they don't know.
They don't even know.
It kind of makes sense.
It's not coming out this year. It's not happening.
So maybe Tales of Rise is the same boat, where it's like we're aiming for this year, but we're not quite sure. Maybe it's early 2022, and they don't say. But if it's just like, oh, maybe a couple more years, we'll see. I don't know. I feel like that game might just be in development hell. Who knows? But
you remember this trailer from 4 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. Eventually, we're going to be there at the 17th Game Awards, and it's like, you remember this game from a decade ago? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see if Kirklin picks it up down the road, or Fanboy Clay. He can at least tell us about it.
He will. Yeah, he said he's getting the deluxe version.
Oh, so he dropped a date there. He said September 10th, 2021. So did we maybe miss it?
Oh,
maybe that's it.
It wasn't. I watched it twice. I did watch it twice.
I don't have it in my notes either,
and it wasn't there the second time. So maybe, I guess, I don't know why. Maybe they didn't know it, but when they gave Jeff the footage, but that's good. Nice.
Or Clay's just guessing.
Same day as Sable, so I'm not playing it. But
yeah, remember, it's like the PS5 conference, that very first one, where they put a bunch of games out. And they didn't have the dates, and it was just like and the dates were public, but they just didn't have them in the conference. Because we talked about Horizon, and we didn't get a chance to do the Halo prediction, or like a E3 predictions. I wanted to ask you, Kirklin, do you think Halo comes out this year?
I feel like realistically no, but yeah, I feel like no. Yeah.
Dylan, what about you?
I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say early 2022.
That's what that's what I was thinking.
Gonna be
January,
February, March. Not
March?
January. They're
I'd
not
say
fucking
January,
with Elden
February.
Ring. They're not fucking with Elden Ring.
Oh, that's a good point because Elden Ring was 21, January 21. So
yeah. February, March. That's what I think. We'll see.
I hope
Sunday's
for
the big day.
it comes out this
again, same topic. I was talking to my buddy at work today on E3, and I'm like, yeah, what are you excited for? He's like, I'm not gonna lie, my most hyped one is Halo Infinite. I'm like, you saw that trailer, right? I'm like, you saw the memes? You saw like the Shrek memes? Get out of my swamp. And he had seen them. So, but for whatever reason, I think he was playing like Master Chief Collection. So he's got all the nostalgia of just like that Halo, but good for him. Hopefully he sees something at the I'm sure they'll be showcasing it, even if it doesn't come out this year.
Like Hugh Jackman said, that reminiscence trailer, nostalgia is a powerful drug. You know what's powerful is that game company. I don't know if they're, but I like the name. They're making Sky coming to Switch June 29th. So what, 19 days from now? So cool.
What did you say this was?
Sky.
Sky Children of Light for
I don't have the full title here. I just have Sky made by that game company.
Oh, that's the Petite Prince, that one.
Yeah,
okay, that's what I thought. So I thought the title was. So
I thought it was originally too, and then they said like Sky Children of Light.
I guess that kind of leads perfectly into what I was going to say. Is like I think this game seems interesting, but I thought the trailer was really bad. I don't think it displayed what the game is. Obviously, it didn't even tell me what the title was correctly, and I watched it twice. So I don't know. I think that was a really, really poor trailer, but it's a game that seems, I don't know, visually it seemed interesting. So I'm excited to see it again. Well, I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm curious to see it again. But work on your trailers next time. Get a professional trailer maker or something like that. Like this was a bit of a sketchy trailer.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it was like it like started with like a developer like talking too, wasn't it? It like wasn't even gameplay, and then like in the bottom it said like Le Petit Prince, and then I think like at the end they like said like Sky Children of Light. I'm like, oh, is that another game that they're coming out with? It was just like a very disconnected
really
trailer. I thought, yeah.
Planet of Lana looking really cool. I don't know where I'll be on this one, but yeah, I liked it. Had like a Bob Ross, like as I'm looking at it, like a Bob Ross, like literally paintings, moving paintings. And there's this one shot from this trailer, this monster, he has like the mouse come out. Yeah, I really like the art style. I don't remember much about the trailer on this one, but I remember being like, oh wow, that's a pretty looking little game there.
Yeah, I think they said in there that well, I don't know if they said everything, but they said everything's hand painted or it's hand painted. So I think that's amazing. I'm always down for unique aesthetics, and it definitely shows. Like it's just visually unlike any game I've ever seen before. Even though it's just like a character in a 2D game walking through a forest, which is something we've seen a million times, yet it stands out. So really, really into that one. That definitely is on my radar, and I like that it was kind of this serene, beautiful painted aesthetic, yet there seemed to be something like a little sinister going on. There's kind of these escape pods crashing into Earth. I don't know if those are supposed to be aliens or something else. It's called like a new world or a new planet or something. There was like some tagline, some subtitle, I can't remember, but whatever it is, I'm super intrigued by that game. It's absolutely
an off-Earth Odyssey.
That's the word. That's beautiful. An off-world Odyssey. Kind of awkwardly rolls off the tongue, but yeah, I think that game looks amazing. I'm super excited for that one.
Yeah, I think it looks beautiful. One of my favorite games ever is just the game Inside. I'm not sure if anyone here has played
I wrote that in my notes too. It looked like Inside. Yeah,
it is so. That game is so awesome, and it's so basic because it's just a side scroller, but it just blows me away how much like detail you can add to a game like that. And this one definitely feels like it's checking that box. So I feel like it'll definitely be on my radar. And like the wind on the grass, I was getting Ghost of Tsushima like vibes. It just looks so beautiful, and yeah, I love that shot with like the pods dropping, even like the big circle. It reminded me of like Destiny a bit. Yeah. So overall, just really excited. 2022, I think, was that one.
Yeah, like I said, anything that was 2022, I just
it was.
I just didn't even write down. I'm like, this is who knows.
2022. Kirklin, you can keep going. Do you have anything to say about these two Overwatch characters / skins for Overwatch?
Don't play Overwatch before me.
Okay, well, you were just talking about streaming it. So
I had a pretty deep cut Overwatch phase for sure.
Yeah, I found this section very funny. First of all, because it was very strange. And they're like, oh, check out Sombra, and like check out all the detail in her clothing. I'm like, I swear that's the exact same character model I saw in the first game.
That's what people were saying online.
Yeah, like it, like okay. And
he's like, look at all the tech that's in her clothes.
Yeah. She's like a hacker in game. That's why she has the nanotech in her suit. It's just like, okay. I don't know. I feel like the things that was the most interesting were probably things that people already knew about the game prior, but I haven't been following it too much. So like I didn't know that they're going from 6 players to 5. I think that's like just overall that's like strategy is just huge game changer. I'm getting like fucking
epilepsy warning on
Let's put a breakdown Kirklin's
so yeah, like I feel like the things I liked the most out of this section was just detailing about the game, which was probably already like prior knowledge.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because they announced that 5 players switch up like a month or 2 ago, and so that's why it seemed a bit weird to me that they were just rehashing stuff. But clearly, it was good information for some people who maybe aren't keeping up to date on all that stuff. So
exactly. Yeah.
I thought I guess that's a good valuable thing.
I just found it so strange when they're like spending all this time like showing off this character that is already in the game, and like her costume just looked the exact same that was in the first game, and I was just kind of chuckling there. Yeah, it's because this is the new game director, right? Because what's his face left?
Jeff Kirklin, who is kind of like the face of it, and like every month he'd hop on and do some stream where he's talking about all the patches, and I used to watch those, and I thought he was
I used to watch those all the time.
Presenter and stuff like that too. So I definitely was a bit sad to see him leave, and I know this is like the opportunity to like, here's the new director, and here's like him showing off the game, but it was so weird because Jeff was like, well, we're gonna look through some clips here. Why don't you like talk us through this? And then he's like, yeah, so this is Sombra,
new to the game.
Nope. And then, like, wouldn't talk for like, so I was like, and then we couldn't see Jeff, but I could just picture him being like, dude, like, you're supposed to be talking. You're like, I don't know if his teleprompter died. I don't know if he just got nervous and forgot what he was supposed to say, but there was something really off about that announcement that just had me fucking rolling. I loved how weird it was. It really, really felt strange.
Fan Blake says he wants to be excited for Overwatch. Yeah, I didn't want Kevin's
game actually. As a big fan of the first one, but I haven't played it in literal years at this point.
A couple weeks.
I'm not really getting sold on it. So that might be it.
Well, I didn't want Kevin Spacey to be a criminal, but we don't always get what we want, Clay. So 2B coming to Fall Guys. Still have never played Fall Guys. Everyone tells me such great things. The fun thing, I still have it downloaded. I want to play it. I got no comment on 2B coming to Fall Guys. Good for them.
Good for them. I like 2B. Just a cool character.
So I will say, I don't know, Travis, I don't know what list you're going off, but there's been a few things that you've skipped past. They haven't mattered, but I feel like now you just skip like 5 things, and I don't know if they're in your list afterwards.
I'm going off of Wario64's tweets.
So I would think that's pretty good, and maybe my list is wrong.
I'm on the IGN website.
Yeah, because he usually tweets live, and I went back to the live tweets that he did. Well, how about we see if those things come up, and then you can always bring them up if they haven't come up yet.
I'll bold these so that I remember. But I have not played Fall Guys. It looks fun, but it's just not a game I've wanted to pay for. So I don't know. Maybe that's bad to say, but
that's a fair assumption, honestly.
Next topic, please.
Deviation Games devs partnering with PlayStation for a new IP. They brought up as they're new and everything like that, and then they did the big Sony reveal. Stage turned to blue. I even like Jeff being like, "Oh, look, the stage color." So please educate me on Deviation Games and why I should be excited for a PlayStation, or why should I give a shit of why their first new IP should be with them.
Well, we don't know. I mean, Jeff was like, "So you guys worked on Call of Duty Black Ops."
Yeah.
So that's cool. And so I mean, that's like, I like Call of Duty Black Ops. That was a fun game, but I don't know if I'm excited by a studio that's headed by someone who like worked on one of the Call of Duty games.
It's like, what are they making? What's their goals? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and they kind of were talking about how at their company, it's not about ego; it's about the best idea wins, and that's what we're gonna do. And I don't. It's interesting, but I feel like you do this when you have a game to show, a teaser, a title, a logo, something. It seemed like a bit too soon. Like I think as we talked about Prime Matter, the publisher announcement, like that was really cool because there was something that you could actually latch onto visually. Whereas Deviation is a couple guys that I'm not really familiar with who worked on games that I think are kind of generic, and so I don't know why I'm supposed to get hyped, but maybe in a few years they'll release a game that'll be my game of the year. But today, I think they did have a nice company logo. At least I like the two slants.
I did like it.
Yeah. So they have that going for them, and they kind of had fun banter. So I don't know. It was a bit strange, but we'll see.
Today is not that day, is what you're telling me for to get excited. Yeah, no, the only minuscule hope I have is that, okay, they're partnering with PlayStation. Hopefully that they have a pitch that PlayStation went, you know what, this could be really cool. Let's work with them. That's my only sliver of hope. But
we got some good original IPs from PlayStation, so who knows? Yep. Maybe something's in the works.
Yeah, Days Gone too.
Oh, actually, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask about that. Do you think that that's a PlayStation studio, or they're just working with them on this title? I couldn't get the vibe if they were bought by PlayStation, or if it's just hey, they're helping us publish this game.
I think it's they're making a game that's going to be maybe exclusive to this PlayStation, but it's just this one for now. I feel like, 'cause even in the tweets, it's more info on PS Blog about partnerships, not buying or I think it is just Insomniac goes to Spider-Man, and then maybe after it's hit, hey, we buy Insomniac. That's what I think.
It seemed like a really weird buy for PlayStation to pick up this kind of no-name up-and-coming studio. I don't know. It would seem a bit odd, I think.
I guess it depends the game they're making, though, right? Because maybe it is something that they really, really enjoy, or maybe it's I doubt it, but people have always said, I don't think they need this because the third-party games, but it's maybe they want an exclusive shooter or something, something just for PlayStation. I don't think that's really PlayStation's audiences, but
even down that pathway, though, it seems like PlayStation's strategy with that is just to buy exclusive games right now rather than buying studios. So
right.
Yeah, but they haven't bought this game, so maybe that's the idea, right? It's going to come out. I don't know if it would just be because it made it sound like Sony was even funding this a little bit. So it's I don't know. I guess we'll have to find them. Hopefully, they just got a really cool pitch. That's all that matters there.
So a 30-40 man team or something like that based on the pictures. So
I thought you said dirty 40s. I'm like, is that their age?
Dirty 40
they look like they're in their dirty 40. Yeah.
Some of my favorite games come from dirty 40.
Jeff Keighley's talking to a couple dirty 40-year-olds. Back for Blood beta begins August 5th. Kirklin, are you excited? Are you also gonna dash Dylan's dreams? Because in the Discord chat, he was very disillusioned as I had never heard this, and Taylor said he has no interest in it. So, where are you for back?
So this is us getting back to Left 4 Dead, right? Same makers, the new remake of it. I haven't been too itching for it because I have Left 4 Dead. I feel like that's the game that I go to, but I'm excited to just see more on it because Left 4 Dead does have a big special place in my heart. I used to play it all the time with friends. I play with my dad, and just it's one of those games that I feel like it's kind of ageless because no matter what, I can always just jump back in and just go shoot some zombies, and it's always a good time. So I'm excited to see what they do going into this one. I feel like we've already seen at least some screenshots, if not gameplay of it. So
there was a beta at one point.
Okay, yeah. So seeing the updated zombies, that was really cool because they just seem a lot scarier.
They're big. Some of them are fucking wild.
Yeah, and I love the glow in their eyes that they have. It just seems just a lot more eerie. Cause Left 4 Dead zombies are freaky, but they're probably dated by now, and just the textures on them, they don't have the same effect as these new ones.
The witches are scary. Yeah,
the witches are scary. Yeah, you avoid them. So, I am interested because Left 4 Dead does have a big place in my heart, and especially sounds like Dylan has a lot of passion for it. So I think it would be a fun one to stream with friends if it has the same. Hopefully, it captures the same magic that the first one did. Or first two Left 4 Dead.
Man, I don't even know if it's just that I'm super passionate about this game. I just felt like Taylor calling this game out, saying that it's gonna fail. No one gives a shit about it. It looks like garbage. Just felt really out of character. Taylor's a very positive person. I feel very strange to just come out of nowhere and say, "Oh fuck, who cares about that game? Fuck you, Dylan. Let's go play RuneScape or whatever the fuck."
Are we sure there's not some sort of it's just going to PlayStation first and that's why he's pissed, and then the second gets the Xbox?
Honestly, so I want to. I don't know if Taylor listens to the episodes he's not on, but I want to pick a bone here. I feel like maybe he's a bit salty because when we played Left 4 Dead, me, him, and Kirklin, I feel like Taylor kind of dropped the ball a lot of the time, and I feel like maybe he's a bit salty coming off that session or something.
Oh, so he's bad at the game. He's as bad at the game, so that's why. Oh man, Taylor.
I don't know. It just seemed like a weird fight to pick. I don't know. And it comes out in October too. Like October's like the perfect time for this game to come out. So I'd say I'm pretty excited for it. And like a lot of my friends are into it. It seems like the internet's really interested. So like that's my other thing is like Taylor's like, dude, no one cares or talks about this game. But I feel like Taylor, you didn't even know when Halo Infinite was coming out. Okay, I feel like he's not super. Like, I just don't know how much he pays attention to these things. Like, I feel like he's
I don't
in
think
his
so right
little
now. He's
Assassin's
planning
Creed
a wedding.
bubble. I know that's what I'm saying. So, like, why are you saying that no one cares about this game if you're out here in your Assassin's Creed bubble? Like, I don't know how much he's really paying attention to other stuff. So,
I will say,
why are you talking Back 4 Blood for no reason?
Now, I am not a casual, but I consider myself a part-time as far as like I keep my eye on the gaming industry and whatnot, but I usually know some of the bigger titles. I did not know what Back 4 Blood was until last week when Warner Brothers like, yeah, we're not showing you Squad, we're not showing Harry Potter, we're showing you this. So I had never heard of this up until last week.
That's fair. I mean, you haven't played Left 4 Dead before, right?
No. I like play like never like a full like it's mine and play a bunch of like here.
I mean, I feel like
controller.
Left 4 Dead's always been more well, it was on Xbox and stuff, but it's always been like a very PC centric thing, and I feel like that's probably the audience that's into it, PC gamers, and that's probably the people who are excited for this. I don't know if Assassin's Creed fanboys are. Yeah. So my rant over, Taylor, I'll leave you alone now, but I just had to call you out there.
Well, so CV listens in our Facebook chat. Kirklin's name is Zippermouth, and it's because of there's these new pictures for Batman, and he was like, "Why is he Zippermouth? Why is your name Zippermouth?" And like, you could easily find out, but you never will. If you just listen to that last week episode, it was literally like one of the first stories. But no, he chose not to. So
is that the 1999 thing? Would I know if I listened to every episode?
It was an episode. No, it was only an episode a few weeks ago where you would it's talking about Batman, and you would hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. But the 1999 no. That's just that is just as a joke. My two running jokes right now are anytime someone asks me for my age, I just like go lower and lower. And the other ones is just to piss off Jessica as far as I just mess up the Borderlands characters' names on purpose. That's why I was saying
I forgot about that one. You're good at like doing it subtly. I it's been a thing for sure, but I always forget about it somehow.
That's my payback for years of her and Taylor like making fun of Cumberbatch's name. So
like just say his fucking name. You know? Like why this isn't a funny joke. Like
no, it's not. So I just say it. Yeah. So I feel like I've definitely missed some things because now the next tweet
You've missed a lot, my dude.
After that, the next tweet was now it's time for the grand finale. So Dylan, whatever you have, you take over.
I'll fill you in on this stuff.
I want to shout one out quick before Dylan goes.
No, it's Dylan's
just to take all the hype away from Dylan. He just went off. He was ranting on Taylor. I barely was talking there.
No, so. Go ahead.
I got Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. The only reason I'm bringing this one up is because I 100% thought this was Ni no Kuni. I'm not sure if Travis definitely hasn't heard of it, but Dylan, not sure if you've heard of Ni no Kuni. Okay.
Just from doing these casts.
Okay. Yeah, you've talked about it.
I voted for it on the Game Awards for like best music.
There you go.
The music is phenomenal in the series. So as soon as the trailer came on, it has the same character design as well as the music. So Shay and I were getting hyped because she's played a lot of Ni no Kuni, and I just love it. The character design is inspired from like the Studio Ghibli movies. So if anyone's seen those, like, it just has some sort of magic to it, and again with like the soundtrack, it's just such a magical, uplifting like experience. And I got really hyped on this. I was very surprised it wasn't Ni no Kuni, it was Monster Hunter Stories, which I mean you got to imagine it's attached to Monster Hunter in some way, shape, or form. I have no attachment to either the movie. I listened to Taylor's review because I love Taylor's solo reviews, but never played the game or anything like that. But this just was very fascinating to me, and it looks so good, and it's definitely up there on my radar. Same with Salt and Sanctuary.
Nice. I'm curious to see if you end up picking it up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Monster Hunter Stories.
July 9th.
July 9th, really? Okay, that's I kind of forgot.
It's very soon. Yeah,
it was. There's a lot coming on. Like the Mario Golf is like a week or two before that, and then the Skyward Sword remaster. So
that's coming out soon too. Yeah.
So here's what Travis skipped. The main one for me was Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which is kind of a third-person action RPG. I'm really interested in this one because it's coming to Game Pass day one in like June 22nd or something like that. I think it just looks like a fun. I mean, I like D&D, so I'm down for a D&D
I
inspired
think I missed
game.
this one.
Check out the trailer. It had Hannibal in there and a WWE person.
Yeah, Ember Moon.
Okay,
Yeah,
no, I did see that. I feel like that was when I was like skipping because I'm like, oh no, I have 3 hours left and I'm starting cast in an hour. So I think I just quickly saw like the gameplay of it. Yeah, okay.
I will say like that sequence, they've done that before in performances like in shows like this, and I think it's always bad pretty much like to have people playing this game like fun streamer stuff. But I actually thought this one was good. It was like pretty well paced. It was short, and it showed that the game was like just a really fun janky kind of game to play with your friends. Hannibal's kind of funny, I guess. Travis, do you know that? I'm sure you know who that girl is.
Oh yeah, former WWE NXT champion Ember Moon. She's good.
One of the greats, would you say? Hall of Famer?
No, but she's known to game a lot in WWE, so she's like she has credit and whatnot. So
she said that like her persona was like based off of some Dungeons and Dragons thing. So I thought that was cool. But anyway, I'm excited for that game because once again, I kind of own the game already as a Series X Game Passer. So maybe I don't know if Travis is interested, but maybe some of the other Game Pass squad will try it out. Kirklin, I know you're a Dungeons and Dragons player.
I love D&D. Travis knows about my D&D schedule. It's very interfering, apparently.
It's just made up. He doesn't play D&D. It's just his excuse.
And then I show him my dice. He's like, "You just got those.
You never show me any dice. That's no. This is the first time he's showing me dice. Get him out of here, Dumbledore."
It's funny though, because like I was skipping, so I feel like I missed the title.
Right here.
Ayo, I like that. I missed like the title of it, and then I just saw like the gameplay, and I thought that was interesting. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I got 4 hours to go through, so let's go to. That's not a dice.
No, I'm just showing my heirlooms.
This is a dice. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about. Look at it's in his book.
Look at this, Dylan. $180 omnibus.
Oh, I didn't notice it was Hobgoblin on the cover. That's awesome. Yeah. That's a great shot.
That is a great shot. Is
that still wrapped in plastic, or have you opened it now?
Yeah, I haven't opened it yet.
Okay.
You hear that? Theo, think that is?
Ayo.
Wow, that is thick for sure.
It's so funny though, because when I saw Hannibal, I don't think I must have seen him in something. I just can't really think of seeing him in anything other than right.
Or tags. Oh, he's in both of them.
Must be.
Is he in Game Night?
He's in something.
He played. I think he's like in just a small role in Game Night, isn't he? Like one of the neighbors that comes for the party but then leaves because it sucks. I could be
probably.
Wrong,
but I just know him from that GIF when he's just like whack. Yeah, I use that one.
Eric Andre show.
Yeah. No, and I think you're right, Dylan. It was a good like pacing because I remember that's part of the reason why I still took so long to play Sea of Thieves because the first time we saw it looked fucking stupid. It was like
when you're
10
watching
minutes.
Fucking what's his name? Xbox boy.
Taylor.
No, the head of Xbox. What's his name?
Phil Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer. He was playing it.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
That was not during that. There's no way he was
probably not
the.
Yeah, it was some trailer I saw for the game, Xbox. And it was Spencer and something else.
Whoa!
Yeah. And it was so funny though because I'm like, this game seems so bland when they were showing it off, and they're like, oh, we're killing skeletons now.
Yeah, it looks so kitty. What's next?
It's a fun game though.
So you skip past the Weezer performance. I just want to say,
that wasn't a mistake.
Think it was a good song. I did not. I was not into that one.
But cool, they have free streaming music, so if you want to use it on Twitch or like we cast right now, you wouldn't be copyrighted. So that's cool. They clearly
I'm not going to do that with their music, but
no, they're clearly gaming fans in order to do that. But I was with Dylan. That kind of slowed down the middle. I think if there's only any poor pacing, it was more the middle of the show. I think some of the announcements were a little and you had Weezer,
but Ratchet and Clank. I mean, obviously that game comes out tonight, or like as we're recording, like it probably went up on the store like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously they're just kind of doing they were announcing like a launch party kind of thing. I don't think there's really much to add there. Do you guys?
I think all Ratchet and Clank games are 50% off right now. So there you go.
Nice.
Good promotion.
Yeah. I'm excited to
one on PS4 for a couple months there.
Oh, I'm gonna play that one at some point. I have downloaded, and this one, all I've heard is like even seen people talk about right now. Looks great. I hear nothing but great reviews. So I might eventually play at some point in my life, but it's definitely near the end of the backlog.
If I had stuck with my PS5 pre-order, I probably would have bought it. And
is it PS5 only?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
it's one of the only games to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then the other only notable thing that you skipped over, notable for me, was the Giancarlo Esposito sequence where he's technically there for Far Cry, but really he wasn't really talking much. He was talking about his character, but really it was just kind of him. But I just wanted to shout this out because he just seems like such a fun dude. Like I thought he was a great guest, and you brought up that like awkwardness, and some of the questions did feel a little bit weird in the editing, but I thought like his smile, like he was just such a friendly, like I just want to have a drink with that guy. Like he just seems like such a nice, down to earth human being. So I thought it was really cool to see him on there.
I was wondering when they're like, so you play a villain in this game, and he's playing like a violent dictator. He's like, I'm no villain. I was like, oh, what are you gonna say next? And then he kind of made it sense of like, oh, the way the character grows up, but like, what stance are you about to take? Are you about to get Jeff Keighley fucking canceled for saying Giancarlo Esposito's like supporting dictatorship for stuff? So it was pretty funny for a second. But
yeah,
no, he's just a really cool guy. I'm ready for him to be Magneto. So
he had like this crazy mystical closet door thing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a door or closet. If it's a door, that leads to a magical land.
I feel like he was smoking something too, because he was really hyped to tell that story about his daughter. When he saw his daughter, he was like laughing his fucking face off, like he was hyped.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Anything to add there, Kirk?
I noticed he had like a Peloton in the back. Good for him, stay in shape.
Oh, yeah. And then after that, there was a couple things before. So your next point would be Elden Ring, or did you have other?
Yeah, that's my next point.
What about did you talk about Evil Dead?
No, we're gonna
okay.
But in mind,
Evil Dead is gonna be after Elden Ring. I feel like Elden Ring's
I have it here on my list. Yeah, well,
stop looking at your D&D slides, and
because you guys just reviewed that movie, right? So I don't think I have much to. I don't know if I really. I think it looked like
movie?
kind of. Well, didn't that just come out in Evil Dead?
Dylan's out of the movie game for sure. An Evil Dead movie hasn't come out for a solid 6 years.
What was that like horror movie you guys just?
Conjuring.
No, the week before. What was it? I swear
Devil
it
Made Me
was
Do
called
It.
Evil something.
No.
I'm going on the GeekVerse channel. Let me
okay. Yeah, no, one hasn't come out since before the podcast.
But you did like
started.
one retro for this thing.
No, we have not done a retro. We've talked about it. We're definitely gonna do Evil Dead Rise is gonna come out next year, so we're definitely gonna probably do it for that. But
for a quick game shout out,
Army of the Dead. Is that not like an adjacent?
Oh yeah,
no, that's a Zack Snyder. Well, okay, that's a Zack Snyder zombie film. But there is a film back in the 80s Sam Raimi directed was
Dawn of the Dead.
No, no, he directed.
Well, you also did that episode, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. He directed Army of Darkness, Sam Raimi. That's in the Evil Dead universe.
Well, you can see my confusion. Then,
I do 100% now.
A generic zombie name thing, action thing. So I honestly thought it was tied in with that, which would make sense timing wise for something like that to a movie to come out and then a game, which doesn't really happen these days. But anyway, so it looks kind of Evil Dead the game is what this is called. It looks kind of like Friday the 13th mixed with Dead by Daylight. And the animations, dude, that game is brutal. There's like puts a shovel in the zombie's head and like pops their head off.
Oh yeah,
it looks really fun. I'd like to try it. I mean, I don't know what the price point would be, but that's a game that would be really fun to play with you guys.
Well, Taylor's saying he feels that these type of games that Xbox just loves, and it could be a Games Pass one. I don't necessarily agree. I could see it going the route of being Friday 13th, where it's a $40 game at launch, and then maybe down the line, but. Yeah, I think this is one depending on price. Even if it was $30, like $40, actually, I might be. If it's $40,
how much was Friday 13th at launch?
It was $40 at launch.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it was $60 for us in Canada, but still was cheaper. And then I was gonna say, if reviews were good, but those initial reviews for Friday 13th weren't good. But I had a hell of a time with that game. I loved playing that game. I always had tons of fun. Me and Emily played it like a copious amount. So it's a game depending when it comes out, depending on the price point. If it's a full game, probably not. But if it's 40, I might consider it because Taylor always said he'd love to stream it. And I love Evil Dead. That's a big franchise for me. And like the fact that they got like classic characters, specifically Bruce Campbell, and like what you're talking about the shovel, the movies are specifically very brutal. So they have to make sure, like, if you want those fans in there. So
it almost had Dead Rising vibes, kind of in the brutality. Yeah.
So I really liked it as somebody that misses Friday 13th because man, Friday 13th got fucked over. It was finally picking up steam, and then it got caught in that lawsuit of one company owns Friday 13th and one company owns Jason Voorhees. And man, it just sucks because they were gonna do Jason X, the space Jason. Like they had all these plans, and it just went and like like if Taylor's listening to this, he can go fuck himself about Predator. But like Predator is like, I've played a few times. It just did not hit that Friday 13th magic to me. They like that in the game. They nailed it. Or Predator just was missing something. It was not just a meme on it. It just did not have that same like love. So I hope this could fill out Friday 13th slot. It looked like a lot of fun, and I honestly like was surprised how good it actually looked, just like graphically too. Like it looked like a pretty game for like considering that, because like Dead by Daylight's fun, but it's kind of an ugly looking game. Like it doesn't feel like the most polished and everything like that. Where this looked very nice. So yeah, definitely a game that I'd be interested in the future potentially. So we could have that on the list in the down line of streaming games or something. Hopefully one time, a great October game or something, because they said that's coming out this year, didn't they? I think 2021.
I think so. I think it said late 2021. So you got to imagine around October or something like that.
Christmas, perfect game that I play with the family.
I just got so hyped when I heard Bruce Campbell, especially like we just watched Sky High, so like his voice was fresh in my mind. But I just like seen like definitely Friday the 13th vibes for sure. I agree with Travis. I love Dead by Daylight, but it just doesn't seem as polished as what Friday the 13th was on release. It just seemed a lot more like fitting to a movie. And this one had the same vibes. I thought the character designs, they all looked really good. We didn't really get to see Ash's face. I guess he's like on the cover of the.
We saw it a few times in the game though. There was one good shot of him in particular.
But the other, I'm not too well versed in Evil Dead, other than I've seen like the first and then I think the remake. So like the Knight, I had no idea what was going on with that guy, but I'm like, fuck, he looks cool. He looks like fucking
because at
Aragorn
one point Ash goes back to the past, and
of course he does.
So So you got one good shot of Bruce Campbell right there, you know.
Yeah, handsome man. I just really liked like the different gameplay elements that they're showing off. How there's like different things to do. It's not just like killing zombies. It like at one point they had to like, I don't know, find tapes, or they were saying like the different pages of the Necronomicon or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I just liked how
just like Lunch Lady, finding the different pages.
Yeah, it's we'll see how it compares to Lunch Lady. But overall, I just thought it looked kind of special because it was something other than just, okay, this is your guy that you have to escape from. It's like there's actually tasks and stuff like that. So I mean, Friday the 13th did have that to a certain extent, where you're like trying to find ways to actually kill Jason. But I felt like those weren't really well known. You had to like have a full group of everyone knowing what they're doing, and like everyone watching like YouTube guides on how to pull off everything.
But then when you did have a group, you would just fuck Jason up royally. Like you'd feel
you don't want to
bad
be playing as
it.
Jason. Yeah.
No, because he'd have no control and you just destroy him. So yeah, I liked the gameplay of showing them playing as, you know, the bad guys, the villains, everything like that. So it's on the radar. It's on the radar.
Their narration was funny too. He's like, if you want to just be a fucking dick,
I like that. And then there was this game called Tribes of Midgard, which to me looked like a cross. It looked like RuneScape, but with a Viking aesthetic to it. So I feel like it's just you know, blowing up Taylor's skirt easily. Like that's his. He still talks about RuneScape all the time. It's like Bionicles and RuneScape with that guy, and Left 4 Dead apparently. I'm still salty at him. So I actually think like visually I really liked the art style. It seemed like kind of unique even within that, I don't know, maybe genre sphere that we've seen a million times before. So it seemed interesting, but I'm not really a RuneScape guy. I played a little bit of it when I was younger, but didn't really grow up with it. You know, furthermore. So I don't know. I would be curious to see more, but it's interesting that the Viking theme seems to be just like all the rage these days. There was that Valheim game that was pretty big, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, obviously. So it seems to be the thing to do these days.
Oh, absolutely.
I threw in the GeekVerse Facebook. I said, Dylan throwing lots of shit at Taylor. So let's see, because what he'll do is he'll like, I did this once, and he's like, what's going on? But we don't tell him what's happening, so he has to just find out himself. So Taylor, if you're listening to the podcast at this point, this is the point where I sent that message. So
that's so funny. When this trailer first came on, I actually was just like chuckling. I'm like, man, this looks. I mean, Dylan was shouting out the art style. For me personally, it just seemed pretty like low grade. I don't know if I'm gonna get lashback for that, but like. It might be an unpopular opinion. I just thought it looked kind of funky. Even like the characters like running around, it just looked very like I don't know what word I'm looking for. It didn't look that great. And then
not AAA, yeah.
And then not AAA, but once they like went back to camp and they showed them like getting new attire and like kind of upgrading and stuff like that, I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit, maybe I'm intrigued in this game actually. Like just certain elements were really grasping my attention, and so it is on my radar actually. It's funny, like the progression of me watching that trailer. I was like, oh, this is a joke, this is ridiculous. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, okay, this looks kind of cool.
You sell out.
I still thought that like the overall, like the Titans, I still kind of thought that they looked very civilized. That's a good one, Clay. That's totally the comparison I would be looking there. Looks like Civilization. But I liked the oh no, that's what I was gonna say. I disliked the giants. The what do they call them? I think that's what they called them, the giants. I don't know. I just thought they looked kind of not the best character design that I've seen. So shouts out to that. Nice. Still intrigued though.
Travis, anything to add on that one?
No. Not at all.
My speech.
That one, that one didn't grab me.
So Elden Ring was the last thing. I just want to quickly shout out one thing from the Day of the Devs because it's probably better to end on Elden Ring. I didn't watch Day of the Dev. I kind of like skimmed through it in preparation for this, and there's a lot of things in there like Axiom Verge 2 or Oxenfree, games that we've Titans is what we're looking for. Games that we've kind of known about, seen about, and I guess there's just bigger deep dives. But the one game that I haven't seen, and maybe you guys can YouTube this quick. I don't know if there's a trailer for it or if it was that gameplay reel only, but it's a game called Phantom Abyss, which first of all I think is a very generic name, and maybe they should have gone with something a bit more standout. But it's a really, really interesting looking game. It's kind of like a first person exploration game where you're kind of going through these procedurally / randomly generated Indiana Jones temples sort of aesthetic looking things.
That's cool.
And I guess the hook of it is that it's a roguelike, so the temples are randomly generated, and there's like a golden idol at the end of each dungeon or temple, whatever you want to call them. But literally, it's like an online game. So the first person to get the idol, that temple is no longer a thing. So like each unique temple has one unique winner, and then it's just gone from the world. They just fucking delete the game files, and you are the unique winner of that. So like picture like a battle royale, like a Fall Guys, but let's say it's like randomly generated, but like each world only generated once. And then if you're the champion, you can hold that. You can hold that as your win.
You should like get the files so you can just like explore and be like, yeah, guys, this is my winning. Yeah.
and it's interesting too. It kind of has the, I don't know if you guys have done this in Mario Party, if you're like racing, doing the time trials, and you can see your ghost version, which is like your, you can see your previous version running. And so while you're going through the temple, it's not like you're racing against other people real time, but you can see their ghost or spirit kind of running through, and you can kind of see maybe where they died or like where they went or something like that. So really, really interesting looking game. Absolutely on my radar. Just such a unique concept. I mean, maybe in concept it's like weird because you're playing it and then like you just get kicked out of levels all the time because someone beats it. Like, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of tweaking that would need to be done, and it really depends on like having a solid player base. But I think it's just such a unique concept. You only get one try at each dungeon, and whoever wins, if someone wins, gets to hold that win forever. So I think it's a cool idea. But with that, I think we can talk about some Elden Ring.
I was going to quickly bring up the Endless Dungeon. Is that a game that's like already been out? Because I feel like I heard about it a while ago. I just saw like some screenshots. I just love like the shadows that they had. I thought the lighting was really well done. Like it's not top down. It's kind of like a side. I don't know what you call it. Diagonal.
I want to say I've seen it before, but like I want to say I saw it at another conference, but it definitely looks interesting as well.
It looks like I feel like the little quick trailer thing that they showed, it wasn't, I don't know, the most interesting for me, but when I was looking through screenshots, I'm like, man, this game, it actually looks really beautiful. Just like the design of, again, like the lighting, that was a big thing that really caught me. But yeah, we can go to Elden Ring.
Let's do it.
It's real. It's here.
I'm finally free.
Thank you so much for letting me show the game. Thank you. Like, had ticking time bomb. Like we talked about at the beginning, this was a big one. This game that's been talked about for years. Bandai Namco, George R.R. Martin, who obviously Game of Thrones franchise, everything like that. So this is a franchise, or I guess I should say, this is a genre that I've not really dabbled too much in because I just don't think it's interested me. I have always thought about, okay, when is going to be my time to do it?
It's kind of like that though, right?
It is. I feel like it's like that for kids, like it's like, you're playing that, but like I got the idea of that, and I didn't. Yeah, I got the idea of that, and I didn't hate that. So that's why I'm always like, I'm not completely opposed to it, but I'm waiting. Is Elden Ring the one? it's tough because like I know there's like a kind of reputation with these games that they're not going to be looking the most beautiful, right? It's not going to look like a Jedi Fallen Order because there's things where it's like, okay, they're so vast in gameplay and bosses and learning and stuff like that. They're going to spend more time on that than anything. Go ahead. I was going to say, like, anytime I've seen like you guys play Souls, something, you go, okay, like it looks fine enough, but it doesn't look like Ghost of Tsushima. You know, Death Stranding, like it looks like this feels like,
I don't know. I don't know if they age amazingly, but I will say that Dark Souls 3 is like one of the most beautiful games I've ever played.
I was gonna bring that one up.
It looks fucking amazing.
It's very dark, but I feel like they capture like the special elements of it, where it's like this beauty in the darkness.
Movie, but like, oh my god, the bricks, the doors, like they look amazing.
Oh, and
I heard Demon Souls looked really nice as well too. So I'm excited. This is a PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, stupid names, like all that jazz and everything. So I don't know if I would. I think what I might do before is either through Games Pass or like PlayStation Plus, try one of these games out a little bit. And even if I like it a little bit, I could either keep playing or stop and then wait for Elden Ring. I don't know if it's an $80 game, but it depends a lot on like if I get a date for Horizon, if I get a date for God of War, stuff like that. So if I get a lot of games kind of back shelf, then I might jump into, because the world, like one things I love about video games is like world building, and this looked like, and I know you guys have told me before that sometimes these games don't have much in story or character, but people kind of thought, well, the fact they're bringing on George R. R. Martin might be kind of like a remedy to that, right? Like for lore and stuff like that, or for maybe a character beat or story beat, he could flesh that out. So it's like I don't know if I'm committing to it, but at the same time it's like, if I'm gonna jump on one, should this be the one to try my hand at? But at the same point, I don't want to get it, spend $80 and be like, meh. So
yeah,
I loved the trailer. I think it was a good reveal. Yeah, I think Jeff acted like a little too hyped on the stage. It was a little funny, but like
I think it was warranted.
Yeah, it was warranted. It just gets a little like comical after a while, but like it was warranted. Great trailer. The world looks great. Like just showing all the different creatures and locations, and like I don't think it's open world, but they've said it's like their biggest game, and it's like has open world vibes, which is like that's always up my forte. So I think it's someone that's not a big fan of the genre, not because I hate, just because I'm not indebted in it yet. It was a very good showing, and I think they did a really good job. So it's not on the radar exactly, but I'm intrigued. I'm on a wait and see thing. But I think for the people that want this game, look like they were hyped. All I saw is I would say since COVID happened, I've seen 3 trailers shown from people on my Facebook, and those are the most norm people. One was WandaVision. I don't count it because it was the first Marvel thing. One was the Batman trailer, which was everywhere. People like, look at this thing. And this was not my mom, not whatnot, but like people that I know play video games that don't post much games were sharing this trailer all around. So it had the hype of people. So I know what a big deal this is. So I think they did a good job. And yeah, we'll see. I'll predict I probably won't end up picking it up, but there's a chance. As long as it's not like fucking Returnal where people say, hey, you got to play for 4 to 6 hours and you can't pause. As long as I can pause, then the dad with 3 kids.
Ooh, yeah.
I will jump into, but something like Returnal, not so much.
I don't think
maybe eventually that'll be a thing like on a skill tree, like you unlock like the pause button.
But it's like, so yeah, that's what I mean. Like in Dark Souls, you just can't pause at
all.
You
just can't pause. No.
Really, there's not even like a pause button. You have to go pee.
Nope, that's part of the game, man.
There's if you hit the PlayStation button, if you hit the PlayStation button,
yeah,
it'll like go on like the pseudo menu thing.
But would you still get killed while does the game pause, or is the game still going?
If you hit the PlayStation button, you'd be fine. If you regularly pause, then yeah, I think you can still get hit.
Okay, that's fine. That's good to know. I'll look into that. But yeah, as someone that has kids and time management is always tough and finding what to play. Games like that where it's like you have to be locked in for a full. It's like I don't have time to sometimes be locked in for a full. All it takes is one kid to vomit and there's half an hour gone. So I need a pause button. I need pause.
I feel like just you saying like you've never really like dove into this genre. I feel like this would actually be a good point because this wouldn't. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some Easter eggs that are tying the games together, but I feel like this would be a standalone. Whereas if you're jumping to like Dark Souls 3, again, those games are standalones, but they're still set in the same world. I've only played Dark Souls 1, and then the only other Souls-like game I've played is Neo, which I really, really like that game. It's the same sort of element where it's just like dying a lot, and then you have to collect your souls or whatever, or you lose them. But overall, I love this trailer. One of my favorite things about Dark Souls is, other than the world building just like the unique character, like villains and like monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this one, they showed them off like quite a bit. I was actually surprised how much of it they were showing off. But like there was one, it was like it was just like these giant cauldrons that are like walking around. I'm like, that is awesome. I love just seeing like creepy, eerie monsters like that. And that was something like very special from just playing through the first one. I've never beat that one, so I probably, again, I'm very selective like with getting games these days, unless it's like a Hideo Kojima director's cut. But like
bullshit. You're not getting that.
Give me the one. No, I'm kidding. Let me talk. I love. Is it gonna happen?
No, keep going. I'm looking at Twitter.
You click something, nothing happened. But yeah. So I probably won't get.
There you go.
I probably won't get this one. Again, I don't want to say never ever, but I probably won't get it just because I have Dark Souls 1 that I haven't made it through. Someone at work just lent me Dark Souls 3 because they had an extra copy and they're like, this game is so special, you have to get it. So like, I got my backlog of Souls games. But I'm really, really happy for just the Souls fans out there because they're very passionate. And
oh yeah,
like you're like you were just mentioning, like I feel like not like the loud gamers that are talking about every single video game that's coming out, like just like the here and there guys, like everyone, like those types of people are really just screaming from the rooftops for this game, and they are like so passionate for it. And yeah, it's really, really exciting because I think the one before this one was Sekiro, right? From software or whatever. So, and like since then people. Sorry, what E3 did they show this off originally? They did like a little teaser
years ago. It was during Xbox 2 years conference. Ago.
Yeah. So that got people pretty excited, and I feel like since then, like my Souls friends have just been like, oh, I can't wait to see Elden Ring. Hopefully it's at this E3, and that was last year. Nope. So nothing for it now. So it is really exciting, and I was again, I'm just very impressed with how much they showed off in this trailer. It kind of shook me, honestly. Like it was fun to see gameplay, but at the same time, I'm like, holy shit! All like, Dylan, you saw it twice. Like, do you know how many like villains they showed? I feel like it was at least like 10 to 15. Honestly, like it was quite a few.
Yeah, I want to say that they show. Whoa, I don't like this. No, put me back. Put me back. Make me small. I don't want to be bigger.
It's like public speaking. I know. I get all scared.
That's kind of interesting.
This is intimate. I like this.
Yeah. So. I mean, yes. First of all, that's the thing. They showed a lot. Like they showed probably at least 5 or 6 boss fights, like in detail, quote unquote. Like they showed a little bit of combat from various boss fights, tons of enemies. I didn't know. Like this game has just been so weird, right? We saw it once with like a teaser trailer. Like I had
very
nothing.
Minor cinematic.
Yeah, and then nothing since. So I really had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if it would show up today. I didn't know where it would show up. If it was going to show up.
I did call it earlier in the conference because we didn't talk about this, but they had a Free Guy trailer, and Ryan Reynolds made an Elden Ring joke, and I was like, I know he's up to date on things, but I was like, that seems a bit too odd. So the second he said that, I'm like, I bet it's Elden Ring at the end because I think they fed him that line to say like, because they want to make it seem like, oh, celebrities are talking about Elden Ring, and look what we got. So right when they said that, I'm like, I fucking know.
Yeah, imagine if like Giancarlo Esposito was like, yeah, I based my villain off of Elden Ring. Like they all like mention Elden Ring and some
Hannibal playing that D&D game brings it up too. Yeah.
Here's Weezer's new song, Elden Ring.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum's like, this Jurassic Park game is only second in hype to Elden Ring. Like just somehow shoehorned in.
You mentioned Ryan Reynolds there. I just very quick. I love that line when he was just talking about how long like ago this movie was supposed to come out, and he's just like, yeah, I don't even know who's in the movie anymore.
Yeah, that was good.
100%, I agree with you, man. I honestly thought that movie came out before COVID. So
in the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, Taika is like the villain in this movie. I'm excited for this movie. Back to Elden Ring. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but I think that this just blew me away. Right? If we haven't seen gameplay at all for this game, and now they came out with tons and tons of gameplay, a big story hook, everything you need to know about the setting. And then a fucking release date too. Like they had everything that you could possibly want. So I feel like that was just such an amazing showing. I have a very I don't know what word to use, contentious, I'll say, history with the Souls game. Yeah, definitely complicated. Like Dark Souls 3 is legitimately one of my favorite games of all time. Like maybe top 10 status. I love that game so much. So Kirklin, I'm excited for when you play it.
I got to be the first one first, which will be a while.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And
do you got to play 2 or are you just skipping 2?
No, I'm skipping 2. Everybody tells me to skip 2.
Okay.
You maybe could.
I think they introduced like some weird healing mechanic that just not a lot of fans liked in that one.
Yeah,
so.
They changed it. They made a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, since then, like I've gone back. Like I tried Dark Souls 1 many times, and the last time I played it, I put a good 40 hours into it, but eventually quit. I love parts of that game, but also some parts of it are fucking horrible. Like it is crazy how on different sides of the spectrum that one game is. Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne, I've played maybe 5 hours of each and couldn't really get hooked. And then Sekiro, I played like maybe 10 to 12 hours, and obviously that's not enough to beat Sekiro. I enjoyed it enough, but obviously that's all I put into it. So it's weird. I love Dark Souls 3 so much, but I haven't been able to find that love for any other games. I haven't started Demon Souls. I think when eventually I do get a PS5, Demon Souls, I'll definitely be picking that up because that just looks amazing. So I don't know where I am on Elden Ring. Don't know if I'll be picking it up day one. Like I'll probably play it eventually. I just don't know when that will be. But I just thought that this was one of the best trailers for any game ever. Like to come out with a game that only had a teaser trailer and have all this information, like who knows when this game was going to come out. Like they released an insane amount of games in the last like decade. So I didn't really expect, I guess, that Elden Ring would take too long to come out. Like Sekiro came out in like 2019 and here this game's already ready for early 2022. It's a relatively short dev cycle, but obviously they have like their systems down and their core systems down. It's really just creating new worlds and stuff. So yeah, it looks a lot more open. The story is probably going to be more focused on Sekiro. I will say kind of already did that in a way in that it seemed like I have a little bit more of a straight mainline story, or there's like actual characters that you're following rather than just lore and world building, which other games have in spades. So it seems like they've been going down that road, and obviously having the writing talent of him is interesting. I also think maybe it's kind of weird. Like I've thought that From is like a very Japanese studio, so it's interesting that they have maybe what's his name, George R. R. Martin. Yeah, maybe he knows some Japanese, but I feel like that must be interesting to coordinate creating a story for a Japanese studio when you assumingly don't speak that language. So I wonder what it'll be like. But I think the game has kind of everything going for it. It seemed to me, out of Sekiro, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, it seemed like honestly it could be Dark Souls 4. Like it had that aesthetic. It's maybe a bit more cosmic in a way.
The developer, like main director, said to compare to any of them, he says Dark Souls. What do you compare it to?
Yeah, there's even the one DLC area in Dark Souls 3. Oh God, I can't remember what it's called, what the area is called, but it looked a lot like that. So it definitely reminded me of something they do that. Like even Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 have a lot of similar enemy types and things like that too. So definitely a lot of inspiration from the things that they've done before. So I'm pretty excited for the game. Once again, don't know if it's a day one, but I will say the January 21st, if that day sticks in 2022, I love that time frame because like nothing really comes out shortly after that. Like February is getting filled up more these days, but this year Hitman 3 came out in like that same time slot of that, whatever, the third week of January. And I thought that was an amazing time. And it gave me like a good few weeks with Hitman before like anything else of note really came out. And I think that's perfect for Elden Ring, which is probably gonna be a long and difficult game. So I think it's good to have a few weeks to just kind of stir and play with it before something else comes and distracts you, which I feel like there's going to be a lot coming out February, March next year. So
Horizon, maybe Halo.
Exactly.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild too. Yeah. So I feel like January is a really, really good slot for them to get in there.
Yeah.
Just after holidays, before a lot of the other big stuff. So I hope it really stays. And if it does, honestly, just because of that date alone, it might be really nice and a good time for me to pick it up as well. So yeah.
I just feel like with the hype that they had and how they announced it, I feel like they knew, okay, when we announce this, if they're going to go like this route, not like little updates like Kojima did with Death Stranding, if it's going to be like, here's a little tease and then dead quiet, you wait until you're pretty confident. So I'll be sure, like, of course, video games get delayed all the time, but I just would personally be shocked if it doesn't make that January date. To me, that felt like a flag in the ground.
We've seen so much of it. Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. Yeah. I wasn't surprised by a date because there was just so much content in what they were showing. So I think it will stick, barring, some other world crisis.
Like I don't know these dates off the top of my head, but Sekiro 2019, Dark Souls 3 was 2016 or 17, Bloodborne was 2014 or 15, and then Dark Souls 2 is probably a year or two before that. Like they have a lot of games coming out in short succession. So I don't know if they have like multiple teams within their studio that's like making these things. I think it's all the same team, but like they're just really really efficient, really sticking to their week to week workload. So
which like I feel like we're just in the era to expect delays, whether it's movies, video games, whatnot. So I mean, if it comes out January 21, I'll actually be really hyped and just be like, damn, like they actually had like a clean release. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I want to get back to that. Back in the day when they'd be like, this game's coming out this specific day. All right, I can actually plan around that. I'll book my day off work.
You want to think when a game gives its date, you don't automatically think, okay, so when's it actually going to be? You know, just stay quiet, shut up, and then release it when it's ready. You know,
exactly.
So
cool.
Well, we did it. That was a big one. Went over 2 hours there, but lots to talk about. Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, good little kickoff to the weekend. Obviously, Kirkland's going to be off playing D&D, but we'll be back in a couple days with UB. Dylan may or may not join for that one, and then, but either way, for the and then Xbox and Square, you don't know if you'll be on the podcast version, but as we've done with E3s before, come join us for the watch along. We have lots of fun. We goof around, we give our analysis and whatnot. And then Tuesday night, like I said, Monday, we got some big stuff. There might be a rumored Marvel game, some other things. We might drop a podcast, but if not, Tuesday we'll do a wrap up because they're doing the Nintendo one and they're doing the E3 award showcase, whatever the hell that's going to be. So it might just be a whole bunch of nothing. They even said they're like reveals and trailers. So I'm like, all right, like I feel like you'd have all that big stuff already happen, but maybe not. Maybe that's where we see.
They're trying to take a stab back at Game Awards. So like
100%. That's what it felt like. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna be covering it there. So we still got at least 3 more casts coming out. Go back and check out our Loki review. Check out every bunch of things. So thank you very much for listening to all this. We hope you enjoyed it. And when you hear from us next, not be boring.
See you later.